The Pittsburgh Pirates spent much of this season near the top of the standings, but another late season slump sees the Buccos' postseason balloon popping. The Astros look to continue to play the spoiler role. Astros and Pirates are next on Fox Sports Houston. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros open their final homestand of the season. It's the first of a three-game series with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies. The Astros coming back from St. Louis, where they got swept. The Pirates, though, have their own difficulties, JD.
Oh, they've been dropping like my grade point average, Brownie. The Pirates also were swept by the Brewers. They've had an ugly September. They were not very good in August either, so they've fallen out of contention. The pitching matchup tonight features a matchup we saw back in Pittsburgh on September 3rd. The rookie Jeff Locke is making his 8th start tonight, still looking for his first big league win. In that game, he went 5 innings, allowed 5 runs. Edgar Gonzalez, that was his first start where the Astros pitched very well his next time out. Last time out against the Phillies, he struggled a little bit.
That's the matchup tonight, and stars galore are ready to take the field. Brett Wallace hit a long ball in Pittsburgh. We'll see if the Astros can get the home run bats going tonight. Pirates bring in a guy who could be a batting champion this season. Jose Altuve and the Astros out to spoil the night for the Buccos in just a moment.
Let's take on the Houston Astros in the last series matchup between the two as National League foes. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, where crowd continues to come in on this special Friday, special weekend. In fact, those of you who have not gotten your tickets to the Legends Luncheon still can. Just go online to Astros.com. That's going to be at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Many of the great legends in Houston baseball history on hand, and there are a few seats available, so check it out. Meanwhile, we're waiting for the Astros to take the field, get this game underway, and when they take the field, it won't be the Astros. It will be the Houston Colt 45s on this Friday, wearing the Colt 45 home uniforms as we continue to celebrate the first 50 years of Houston Major League Baseball. There you see them. And they've got the revolver. Well, there's one that doesn't have a revolver on it.
Whoa.
How does that happen?
Whoa, Doctor, we have a developing story in the Astros dugout.
Well, somebody has no revolver, so he has no ammunition. He won't be very happy. Let's take a look at the first pitch. That was thrown by one of the all-time greats, if not the greatest Astro legend, Craig Biggio. And he's going to fire this one, of course, and that's going to be nothing but close. Close. When you're retired, you always lose your arm. Catching, of course, Altuve, who hopes to be also one of the all-time great second basemen. As the Astros prepare to take the field, Biggio will sit back and watch this game like the rest of us. And let's go to the booth. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies.
Thanks, Greg Lucas, and a beautiful night it is in Houston with the roof open. It's 84 degrees, humidity 45%, the wind is calm. And yes, it's one of those gorgeous nights, so the roof is open. The Astros actually have a winning record with the roof open in this ballpark this season. And here's the Pirates batting order, brought to you by Hyundai. It's Starling Marte leading off in left field. Clint Varmus, the former Astro, at shortstop. Then it's Andrew McCutchen in center field. Garrett Jones, the right fielder. Gabby Sanchez at first base. Pedro Alvarez at third base. Michael McHenry's the catcher. Brock Holt at second. So Walker was the original starter at second, so he was scratched. Jeff Locke is the starting pitcher.
For the Astros tonight, or the Colt 45s rather, it's Edgar Gonzalez. And since joining the club, he's made 3 starts, 2 good ones, 1 not so good, and gotten the expected results. 2 wins, 1 loss, 4.40 ERA for 14 1/3 innings of work. He's walked 3 while striking out 13. Defensive help comes from that trio in the outfield. Barnes, if you haven't seen it yet, Google it, YouTube it. Made an unbelievable play in St. Louis yesterday. Chris Snyder's the catcher. Dominguez, Lowry, Altuve, Wallace cover the infield. I mean, that was just a spectacular play by Brandon Barnes. He had a good day at the plate, so he gets another start here this evening.
Eric Cooper's behind the plate with Jeff Kellogg at first base. Tim Timmons at second. Marty Foster at third. Clint Hurdle brings a Pirate club in with a 3-game losing streak. He's 74 and 75. Pirates have slipped a game below 500 for the first time since May 29th. Let's take a look at that sensational catch yesterday by Barnes.
So you don't have to leave your living room. You don't have to YouTube. Watch this. Jump! How about that?
Brandon said tonight around the batting cage he has a bit of a stiff neck from that. Otherwise, though, it's worth the effort, and he's made 2 catches like that since joining the Astros this year. Tony DeFrancesco ready to get his club rolling with the pitcher Gonzalez just behind the mound now and going up to face Starling Marte to lead it off. Marte had a good game on Thursday, going 2 for 4 with an RBI. He's at 246 with 4 homers. He's driven in 16. As the leadoff man, he's hit 278 and he's driven in 15 in 27 games leading off. Gonzalez steals and it's strike 1 for Edgar. The Pirates have dominated the Astros in the season series this year, winning 11 and losing 3. That's in tight. He was showing bunt and he took ball 1.
Fastball, curveball, slider, cut fastball, and changeup are the pitches that Edgar works with. He's not an overpowering guy. When he was younger, he threw much harder, but now he sits right around 90 miles an hour with that heater.
That's rocked on a line to center. Barnes is there. 1 out. A little bit easier than that catch he had to lead off the bottom of the first yesterday, hit by Jay. The catch you just saw by Barnes was on the first batter in the game yesterday for the Redbirds. So he's accounted for the first out in 2 games in a row now, and it's the number 2 hitter Clint Barmes. The original lineup had Neil Walker batting second and playing second base, but he's been banged up lately. 230 for Clint, 8 homers. He's driven in 43.
It took Clint a long time to get going with the bat this year. Lately, he's picked it up some.
And a nice day yesterday against Milwaukee, going 3 for 4 with his 8th homer. Takes a breaking pitch, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Barmes has gone 8 for 18 now in his last 6 games with 2 homers. He lines this one, and that's a foul ball. 1-ball, 2-strike count. First of 3 this weekend, and the fans, first 10,000, will get tonight that Colts jersey that you see. Tomorrow night they get the rainbow jersey, and they get the orange striped jersey on Sunday. So they get a full set by the end of the weekend. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Yeah, well, you come all weekend, you won't have to do laundry next week.
That's line to right field and caught by Maxwell. 2 down.
Well, breaking ball had Barmes reaching, caught it off the end of the bat a little bit.
Well, the batting race has just taken an interesting twist today. Now that we have discovered this afternoon that Melky Cabrera of the Giants is not eligible to be the batting champion. He was hitting 346. Andrew McCutchen's at 339. He becomes the batting leader in the National League. He has 30 homers, 92 runs batted in. And the ruling was made, and apparently at Melky Cabrera's request through his agent, that he not be eligible. 420 for McCutchen against the Astros, 2 homers, 8 runs batted in. And the way they explained it was that he's serving a 50-game suspension, which will carry through the end of the season. And he's 1 plate appearance short of qualifying for the batting title. So because he's suspended, they're saying we cannot add that 1 plate appearance, so he doesn't qualify.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds to me like they had to figure out a way to justify it. I mean, he wanted it to happen.
There's a play by Matt Dominguez. And it's a 1-2-3 first for Edgar Gonzalez. Pittsburgh nothing. Houston coming up. Come up against the lefty lock in the bottom of the first inning with a Hyundai batting order, beginning with second baseman Jose Altuve. It's Brandon Barnes in center field, Matt Dominguez at third base, Justin Maxwell right field. The number 5 hitter is shortstop Jed Lowry, followed by first baseman Brent Wallace, left fielder J.D. Martinez, catcher Chris Snyder, and pitcher Edgar Gonzalez.
Well, the young lefty is on one with a 5.49 ERA. He's only walked 2. He struck out 15 in 19 and a third innings of work. Speed to burn in left and center. Alvarez has had problems down there at third base. You know about Barnes. He's solid, as is Holt. Gabby Sanchez can really pick it over at first base. McHenry very good at blocking balls. Not so good at throwing out base runners. That's been a real problem for the Pirates this year.
Pretty night out there in the distance. Jose Altuve settles in. 291, 5 homers, 34 runs batted in for Altuve. He's hit lefties exceptionally well. A strike one from the lefty lock,
which makes him relatively unique on this Astros club. They've really struggled against left-handed pitching.
His average is 356 against guys who throw with their left hand. Lock misses there, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Altuve has scored 78 runs. Jose went 4 for 13 in this series at St. Louis. And on the breaking pitch, it's a 1-2 count for Locke.
Locke finesse type pitcher as well. He's not going to overpower you.
Just 24 years old.
Very good year down at AAA. Was a 10-game winner, 10-5 with a 2.48 ERA. Fastball, curve, cutter, changeup.
And that one's in the dirt, but he got Altuve to swing and strike out. One down for Locke.
Does a nice job dropping that 2-strike curveball right at the back of home plate. Good tight breaking pitch, and that's the reputation. That's his best pitch, that curveball. He does have a real good changeup also.
Brandon Barnes comes up next at 219 with 1 homer and 7 runs batted in. Brandon in the St. Louis series was 2 for 4 with an RBI. That was yesterday's game. There's strike one. He was quite a football player in high school, and then he had a scholarship offer to go to UCLA coming out of high school. But UCLA had a coaching change, and the scholarship offer was withdrawn. So he decided to play at Fullerton Junior College. And he was a free safety and wide receiver, and then decided to move on to Cypress Community College, where he was playing in a baseball tournament. Some of his old friends from high school had a big tournament. He hit 8 homers in 12 games, and his friends said, well, you need to come back to baseball now. And that's what turned him in that direction. And it's worked out very well for Brandon Barnes.
Yeah, especially if he can establish himself here at the big league and stick around for a while. Been a long journey, a lot of minor league ABs before getting this opportunity this year.
He's really stayed with it. He punches this one on a line. He stayed back on that breaking ball, which was up and right in his wheelhouse. He takes the 0-2 pitch for a single to right. Barnes aboard for Matt Dominguez.
Good solid approach there by Barnes. Certainly with his speed capable of stealing a bag. And as I mentioned, the Pirates have had all kinds of problems throwing out base runners.
Dominguez is on a 6-game hitting streak. His average at 311 with 4 homers. He's driven in 12. He's gone 9 for 24 during the last 6 games.
Mike McHenry has thrown out 7 of 46. That's 15%, which is actually significantly better than Rod Barajas, their other catcher. Hey, Dave Clark's rocking the old-time socks down there. Up sharp, doesn't he?
Nice, Clarky. He is stylish.
Got to get a shot of that after this double.
Ooh. No balls, 2 strikes.
There we go. Check it out.
Sweet.
He's always stylish. That man could dress.
Good third base coach, too. In the air, and the right fielder will come in. Garrett Jones started very deep, but he gets there. We're out number 2. We go to Greg Lucas.
You know, as part of the Astros 50th anniversary celebration presented by the Methodist Hospital System, we'd like to invite you to Legends Weekend. That, of course, starts tonight and goes through Sunday, September 23rd. The Colt 45 Shooting Star and Rainbow jerseys return to the field. The Shooting Stars will be tomorrow, and the Rainbows will be on Sunday. Each game, 10,000 fans receive the corresponding replica jersey. So get your tickets now at Astros.com. Actually, it's not too late to come in here for the game. You want the jerseys? Make sure you're here tomorrow and Sunday, guys.
Thank you, Greg. Justin Maxwell, the batter now, with a runner at first and 2 outs. Jed Lowry's on deck. And the throw goes over to first. Well, there's a report today that Brad Ausmus has taken his name out of the running for Astros manager. Maxwell had a double yesterday and drove in a run. They lost JD's mic. I knew you wanted to make a comment, but 235 for J-Max, 16 homers, 49 runs batted in. I knew you were talking. We just weren't hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Are you there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Yeah. You were talking about Ausmus taking himself out of the running. He took himself out of the running before many people knew he was even in the running.
Right.
He interviewed. It's kind of stealth-like the way that happened.
So we thought maybe he was that famous sleeper candidate that everybody was wondering about. It's 2 balls, no strikes. He's busy right now with Team Israel, but he said it was for personal reasons that he was withdrawing his name from consideration.
You know, when you change headsets and you cough, you should hit the cough button on the spare box as opposed to the color box that you were on earlier.
I was going to say, your mic is not on when it's supposed to be, and it's on when it's not supposed to be now.
I hit the wrong button. Mulligan.
Okay. It's 3-0. You know, we were just talking, though, about how successful it's been for Mike Matheny in St. Louis this year and Robin Ventura for the White Sox, and could have been for Brad as well. Had to have been a very strong candidate. He is. Yeah.
If he, ultimately, if he decides that's something he wants to do, I think he'll get a chance, and I think he'll be really good at it.
Runner going, no throw. It's ball 4. Maxwell takes the walk, and Jed Lowry bats.
Mike McHenry making his case to Eric Cooper. Pitch was over the plate, and Cooper deemed that it was down a little bit. It was close. Home run ball's been a problem for this young left-hander. He's allowed 5 home runs already in his 19 innings. Brett Wallace hit a 3-run blast off of him up in Pittsburgh when we were up there earlier this month. So that's the thing. Be patient, get some base runners, and maybe somebody can pop one here and get a nice early lead. I think we lost Browning. We were kidding the other day, and you don't have to answer this, Brownie. But we were kidding the other day about doing a game which is music with no babbling head announcers up here. This could be our opportunity right here. Yeah, this is my chance. I've been doing this for 16 years. I haven't done any play-by-play, so this is my opportunity to shine. Lowry hits one in the seats, I'm going to start screaming uncontrollably. This could be this could be it on the 0-1. Lowry, a guy who throughout his career, as if you've been with us all year long, we've noted he's been better as a right-handed hitter than from the left side. This year it's been just the opposite. He's been far better left-handed than right-handed. Had a big hit against the Phillies when they were in town, when they turned him around to hit right-handed, scored a couple with a drive into the right center alley. Again, McHenry, a guy who has earned a reputation of being very solid behind the plate, quick feet. A guy who looks like he was born to be a catcher. And the aforementioned Brett Wallace is on deck waiting for his chance at Locke. And Locke is another one. He's one of those guys as the reverse splits apply to him. Left-handed hitters have hit for a very high average against Locke, at least here at the big league level this year. And it's only been a handful of starts. This is his 8th crack at getting his first big league win. And that might play. That is going to be a 3-run jack for Jeff Lowry. This is easy, man. Put me in this driver's seat. I'll hit you a 3-run jack.
Take over, JD. Just keep it going.
Oh, my. That's number 15 for Jed Lowry. RBIs 39, 40, and 41, and the Astros have an early 3-0 cushion. I'm out, Brownie. It's on you now, pal.
How sweet is that? Good call. He turned on that pitch. He had been a better right-handed hitter prior to this year, but now he's showing why.
Break it down.
Now Brett Wallace. He hit that 3-run jack you talked about. Off Locke, but this time grounding out. And JD gets a 3-run homer call from Lowry, and the Astros with a 3-0 lead. Greg Biggio joins us in just a moment. Tonight, it's always a pleasure, and we've been seeing a lot of you this year because you've been around for interviews and things of that nature. How's it going?
It's going very well, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm you know, this is a unique situation that we're in right now. Obviously, the state of the organization, and it's getting better. That's why this next piece of the puzzle is just very, very vital for us, and that's why it's. I was very happy that Jeff asked me to get on board and try to and be involved in this, and I think it gives a nice perspective on things and another opinion at times. You know what I mean? So I think the relationship that we've been able to work with Jeff and George has been great, and I've enjoyed it.
Now that your buddy Brad Ausmus has bowed out of the running, aren't you sorry you can't bust his chops?
Oh, I can bust his chops anyway. I mean, he's Team Israel right now, but he's 2-0, and he's getting ready for the. I think he's getting ready for the semis now. So he's working on that Manager of the Year award.
He's sitting on his record, isn't he? He doesn't want to put it at risk.
Well, sooner or later, you're gonna have to play Team America. So.
Okay. Garrett Jones with good numbers, 23 homers, 77 runs batted in. Well, it is a very important decision that you've been working on. And there's the tag by Gonzalez coming over and making sure he put a hard tag on Garrett Jones. So take your time, get it right. I'm sure that's what you guys are talking about when you meet.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you know, I've had a lot of managers that I've played for. I've seen it from the other side, looking across the field and seeing a lot of great managers. And this is so for this process and the state that this organization is in right now. This is somebody that's going to have a big, vital role for the next 3 years until we get our players a little bit older and a little bit wiser. You start developing some leaders in that clubhouse, and you know, a lot of the things that we were fortunate to have for a long period of time. So, you know, for obvious reasons, we're in the state that we are, but so far, you know, things are on the rise. The minor leagues are getting better. The draft was a good draft from everybody's perspective, and we'll find out 3 or 4 years from now how that turns out. And then once again, we put ourselves in a situation with the new draft rules that we have a lot of money to spend again for this year.
In that 91 season, the Astros lost 97 games, but they quickly got better. You had a lot of good talent that was emerging, and that would be nice to see that here.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, I think we had it was 97 losses that year, and we didn't want to lose 100. We just didn't know how to win, you know. And then we lost 88 games the next year, I think it was, and then 77 the year after that, and you know, and then the next year, and then after that, we had a run of, you know, the second best record over a 10-year period, and that's a pretty impressive statement when you're talking about a middle market club coming from Houston. You know, we had a better record than, you know, either the Red Sox or the Yankees, and you know, obviously they got bigger payroll. So it's been, you know, we've been down this road before. I'm excited with Jim and his management team, and then obviously Jeff and his team that he's put together, that we're back on the right track, and it's just going to take a little time, a little patience, and our fans understand that. There's no doubt about that.
So you've been involved in the interview. Have you been part of all the managerial interviews? Have you sat in on all of them?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what? So obviously you played for a number of different guys. So I'm guessing you go in there and you say, here's what I liked about the guys I played for, here's what I didn't like, or, did you have specific issues that you would address with these guys?
Well, there's certain issues that I have certain questions for that I want to ask that need to be attended to right now. And obviously, for the expertise that I've seen from different strategies, from different managers, from, Larry Durker to Phil Garner to Jimmy Williams, everybody had their own style or their own, thumbprint, if you want to say. So I've learned a lot, and managers got to develop their own thumbprint per se. And then, but a lot of the baseball questions that I have are from questions that, how are you going to attend to this right now? And then obviously, if you're being interviewed, obviously X's and O's, you should pretty much be okay with that type of stuff. But those questions get addressed also. But there's just a lot of responsibilities that are going to come about for the next 3 years, and having a lot of different managers that I've played for. It's really it's taught me a lot on how I've taken certain pieces from certain guys that I really liked and certain things I couldn't stand. And then you start, posing your questions out there and see the type of person that, one of these guys is going to hopefully turn out to be.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Pedro Alvarez. It's a fascinating process.
So you bring the player's perspective into these meetings. And you've been up here a lot. And so you're going to be around Jeff a lot in the front office and probably learning a lot, too, about the business of the game from this perspective versus down there. I imagine it's been a lot of fun for you.
You know what? I mean, it really has. I mean, I look at what Nolan has done in Texas as far as, his involvement where he's taken a really good organization to an organization now that's been back-to-back World Series teams. And that's just developing. There's a team unity that you're going to have from the front office perspective that you also have from the clubhouse. We all have to be working together as far as it's not going to be the players versus the front office or the staff versus the front office. We have to be all in together, and I think it takes to have a baseball person on the other side also to be able to develop those relationships and develop that trust that, hey, we're in this thing together, and at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to get, one of those flags that are hanging on the wall out there. And we've done it before in the past. We've proven it before, and we'll do it again.
So not to put you on the spot, but
I wouldn't expect anything else.
Everybody's running around town. We want Biggio to be the next manager. So let's not even say the next manager. So you're doing this up here.
Right.
There's always the chance you could go down there and do that.
Right.
It's at some point in time. I mean, are you tugged in different directions? Do you see yourself doing either, both, neither, or maybe any bit of it?
No, I totally understand your question because I get it all the time. Why don't you just be the next manager? And where I'm at, the stage that I'm in with my life right now, I'm enjoying this aspect of it. I mean, I think understandably you guys see me around more and more. Okay, so I enjoy that kind of the side that I'm on, and it gives me the freedoms that I can get away for a weekend if I need to go see my son play at Notre Dame, or I want to go watch, if Cavan's going to be going to UVA and go watch him there and then maybe watch a volleyball game. I'm not saying I'm going to disappear for a couple of weeks, but I mean, if you're on the field, I'm just not at that stage in my life right now that, you have to be totally committed, just like being a high school baseball coach. I mean, I'm totally committed. It's either you're all in. You can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door. You got to have them both in. So I understand the responsibilities that go on from the baseball side of things. But again, like I said, it's just hard for me to be able to commit to that time because your kids are going to be gone before you know it. And then so maybe that's the next chapter. Who knows? But right now, like I said, I think there's a huge importance to be able to be working with Jeff, and I like Jeff. I like working with him. I think a very knowledgeable man, and he listens and he asks questions, and I ask questions to them because there's a lot of things that I don't know. And I have no problem talking to him, and he's been great. I mean, he's and a lot of the things, understandably, I know that sometimes the fans get a little they get confused on why we had to make all these trades and do all the things that they had to be done. I mean, for the state of the organization where we're at, we're very, very thin in the minor leagues, and we needed to replenish. And it takes time. So a lot of the moves that he made, we've got some players, and they're getting better. And then with the continued success, if hopefully we have the same drafts like we had this past year, we'll see where we're going to be at. Hopefully, in another 4 years or so.
Have you had a chance this year to see many of the minor league kids play?
Usually I get out to the AA, AAA guys, so I got to see them. I mean, just look at the success ratios that they've had in the minor leagues. We never won. I mean, we haven't been very good at winning. And you have to create an environment that you want to win. Losing is not okay, so you have to, for kids to get promoted to the next level, you got to create an energy right here. Winning is fun. This is what you want to do. And then when you get to the next level, you get to the big leagues, it's all about winning. This is what it's all about. But if you create an environment where you're just losing every year, these kids get to the big leagues and they don't know how to win. So that's part of the development process also.
Yeah, I was excited to see the improvement of DeShields this year. He had a monster year.
He had a great year. And look, to me, there was never going to be any question about his speed. Speed never goes into a slump. And I can relate to this. I was talking to him earlier where he's the minor league player of the year. And, he'd said I'm just finally getting comfortable now. This is his second year of being an everyday second baseman. And, the reports show that. The reports show that he's made some huge improvements, some huge strides. And once you get comfortable, like it took me 2 years to get comfortable, just where I didn't have to think about every little different thing when I made the transition going from catcher to second base. So when he said that, I totally understand where you're at. And I look for him to continue to get better and better, which is a good problem for us. We want as many good players as we can get.
People say, well, why leave him at second base when you have Jose Altuve? But that's a down-the-road decision, isn't it? You don't need to make that move.
You never know what's going to happen.
Now here's a visit. Apparently, well, we know that he's had a blister on his big toe in the right foot. Don't know if that's the reason for this visit to Edgar Gonzalez. But something's not quite right.
Yeah.
There's a guy who really wants it badly, and the last thing that he wants to do is come out of a game now in September when he's trying to secure a job for next year.
No doubt about it. And that's what you want. You want a guy that's trying to, hey, I'm okay, Tony. I'm okay. Let me stay. Let me do my thing. And then obviously Tony's got a tough decision to make. He's listening to everything that Nate's telling him. So it's a tough situation sometimes. There's a difference between having a little blister or something like that and then possibly an injury. So that's what they're all trying to process right now.
And sometimes if a pitcher has a foot injury, he kind of changes his
delivery. You end up putting more pressure on your arm when you're planning. If you're ginger with that front leg, that you kind of that plant foot, then you're just going to kind of lean heavily on your arm. You're not. I mean, you can just imagine throwing anything when you step and throw. If you can't put your weight down on that front side,
that's going to be it for Edgar Gonzalez. So we'll have a little delay here as the relief pitcher will get as long as he wants to warm up, and we'll be back with Craig Biggio in just a moment.
By Miller Lite. Something else you need to look forward to, and there's still available tickets, is the Astros Legends Luncheon. That's going to be tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Here's some of the alumni scheduled to attend, including the guest in the booth right now, Craig Biggio. They'll be on hand, and will you? I got ready to get a ticket. Is visit Astros.com with full information. Again, it starts tomorrow at 11 o'clock. It will be in the station, train station, in the rotunda there, the center part. And it should be a lot of fun, a lot of stories, and a lot of opportunities to meet some of the Astros greats, some of the members of the all-time 25 roster, and some of those that were listed on our top 50 players for the first 50 years of Houston baseball. Guys?
Thanks, Greg. We watched Fernando Rodriguez warm up. He pitched Tuesday night in St. Louis. He's 1-10 with a 5.75 ERA, 61 innings, and you see the numbers there for him. He'll be inheriting runners at first and second and 2 outs. And Brock Holt, a left-handed hitting second baseman, will be the batter. He'll get as many warm-ups as he needs because of the injury to Edgar Gonzalez. And we're talking about plotting the future, though, for this organization with Craig Biggio, who threw out the first pitch tonight and is heavily involved in the planning for the future. Now you go from this season as a base, looking at a lot of young players, and now this winter deciding which ones take and which ones don't take, and then opening up jobs for next year. But how much of that do you think is filling in with some veteran guys who can help win short term?
Well, there's it's part of the equation. It's part of the deal where, I mean, Jeff has mentioned it. I mean, obviously we have some money to spend, but you want to spend the right money. You just don't want to bring a guy in that's just going to fill a void just because you want to technically give a name. We've found them been down that path before, and giving away some contracts at times. And now we're at the stage where, hey, let's see a good quality guy and see where he fits in. And if he's the right guy in the right piece, and then he can acquire him, it's going to be an opportunity. So, I mean, Jeff is aware of that, and, he's going to be looking into that this winter. So it's going to be, like I said, this is part of the process where, you got to start, instituting some guys into that clubhouse a little bit that have a little bit of leadership abilities, quality veteran guys. And then you slowly, that's part of adding the pieces of the puzzle and starting to get back to a lot of the history and traditions that we've had that were on those flags on the wall.
Right. You were talking earlier about winning in the minor leagues, and that's gone a lot better this year. And it's a huge improvement compared to last year. And at this level, we find young players come up, and it's typical that a young player really just wants to establish his own game, and the winning comes a little later, doesn't it, with a young guy?
It does, but you can see some intangibles in some guys where they're angry. Losing is not okay, and that's what I was talking about earlier, where you get into the minor league system where you develop an attitude or a personality where hey, we're just we got to win anyway, and this is okay. It's not okay. You have to develop that winning attitude and winning atmosphere. And then it rolls over into your clubhouse, into the big league team where, I look at this team that's out here. To me, like I've said it before, we're 20 games better. We've given away that many games, and just by some intangibles and little things. And that's why I'm excited about the future of this thing getting fixed and getting corrected. People have to understand, just have a little patience, and things will work itself out because we've proven it before in the past.
Brock Holt from Rice University taking strike one. He's done well at 304 with 3 runs batted in. Coming in for the injured Neil Walker at second base. That's a strike for Fernando, and it's 4 balls, 2 strikes.
JD, I always felt, though, when you have a pitching change, when you have a new guy come in and he gets as many pitches as he wants, why not bring Bracamani in to warm him up? Why does the catcher have to see him?
Well, it's making the catcher, bring them both in a golf cart.
Yeah. And then after he's hot and loose, then you can put the everyday guy back there, Save himself 40 extra pitches.
That's a good point. And you warmed up a few, so you can speak as a man of experience on that one.
Oh, yeah. We didn't have a Bracamani when I was catching, so it was kind of, we had me and Stretch Suba. So your off days you were working in that bullpen.
You should look over to the dugout and just hold your mitt up. Somebody want to come and warm them up there?
Come on, help me out, brother. My legs are killing me.
Stretch my hammies a little bit.
We were marveling over Molina yesterday. Caught all 3 games in the series. Well, this time of year, you've got to want it pretty bad as a catcher to do that.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, look, you look what they're fighting for, and, he's good at what he does.
Lowry, nobody at second, and he did not get the out at first. Altuve did not go to second base, and now the bases are loaded. It's ruled a single, but it's a mental error.
Well, he was way over, though, too.
So is that?
He had him shifted way over to the right. So, I mean, it's almost like, I don't know if, if Jose, singled to him and told Jed, hey, man, I'm way over. So this way here, if you get a ground ball, you got to go across a diamond. Yeah, that's kind of a communicational thing to me right there.
Mm-hmm. And if he had, then Jed would have known not to look at second, and he would have gotten that throw over to first faster.
Well, where he's at right there, that's a long way to go.
It sure is.
But if he would have went right away, potentially he probably would have got the out, but that's just a communicational thing between the two.
Mm-hmm. Strike one to Locke now. Has 1 hit and 6 at bats. Time called.
Well, and I think that's going to be that's a byproduct of all the shifting we're seeing now. Teams are playing more strong pull for hitters you typically wouldn't. So there has to be more conversations on the diamond about, hey, I'm not going to be there probably. Go ahead and make the 2 outs. Just go ahead and make the play at first base. And who knows, maybe that thought was in Jed's head before the injury, and then Fernando comes out. There's the long warm-up period, and maybe a little brain cramp.
Well, you said it yourself. It's communication. That's just the name of the game, and it's kind of getting these young guys to talk a little bit more and letting there should never be a communication breakdown. And I think like for Baggy and I don't want to bring up the old days or the past or this and that, but he knew every time where I was going to be, and I knew where he was, and all it takes is a little, hey, little whistle.
Right.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah, you got to. Okay, got you. No problem.
You guys used to sit in the clubhouse at the Astrodome and talk about the game for a long time afterwards in your early days, and JD and Larry Anderson and the guys.
You didn't learn a lot from Larry and I. Believe me.
Oh, I actually did learn a lot of things from Larry.
We'll be back with Greg Biggio in just a moment.
Center making cancer history. It was on September 21st, 1990. The Astros beat the Braves on a 10th inning solo home run by Mike Sims. Jim DeShays gets help from an around-the-horn double play. Ken Caminiti to Dave Rohde and Sims. That stopped a Braves threat. That, by the way, was a rare play. You know, there have only been 80 around-the-horn triple plays in baseball history. That was one of them.
I could give up a rocket to third, Greg.
That was
I had that was in my repertoire.
Or a fly ball.
Yeah.
And he probably said the triple play is in order right before he threw that pitch.
Yes.
I gave Cammy a little wink. He said, "Be ready, big fella." Here comes a scalded one hopper.
Oh,
Let
boy.
me see how hard he can hit it. I know you can catch it.
JD Martinez leads it off. 3-0 Astros on the Jed Lowry first inning homer. Greg Biggio joining us here.
You know, we mentioned Cammy's name. I mean, JD, I mean, I think as time goes on, I mean, people have their own memories, but I mean, what an amazing third baseman. He's in the top 3 all time in my book. I don't know about yours.
He made so many acrobatic plays, and then he had the arm to finish plays that other guys didn't. You see other guys flop and knock a ball down, but they can't make the throw. He could finish the play.
Yeah.
I always felt bad for Baggy, though, with those throws.
I don't feel bad for Baggy. I feel bad for us because he was a tiny target over there. I mean, everybody's like, he used to bounce the ball. I mean, we can never throw it high because he's a midget. I know he picks on me every time when I'm on the air, so it's my one time. That's it.
Yeah, you got him.
That's it. No more.
You got him.
That's it. We're done. Both of us.
But Baggy's playing first in Colorado. The sun's going down. It's right in his eyes, and Cammy's throwing BBs from third base at him.
Well, yeah, that time of the year is absolutely. I mean, what we've learned, you bounce it. You know, a little communication.
Yeah.
Bounce it. I can't see it.
But what a great competitor Ken Caminiti was.
Yeah.
Oh.
I used to say, I mean, it's 3 runs a week that he'd save you, and people look at me like I'm crazy or something. But I mean, you know, he'd knock it down, give himself another chance to keep a double play ball in order. I mean, and when he did make a play, you went, oh my God, something wrong with him today.
Yeah. I remember a game in Pittsburgh, I believe, and after the game, I throw on the ball. You were Brooks Robinson tonight because I would have given up 9 runs had he not been down there. It was unbelievable.
He kept you in the game.
Yeah, won the game. It was just, I mean, one play after another.
Well, and that is something we've talked about as this season has gone along. That, you know, you look at the staff ERA, Craig, and it's high. And okay, the logical conclusion a lot of people come to is, well, get better pitching. Well, if you get better defensive play, that's going to help your pitching too.
Pitching and defense wins you championships. I hate to say it, but that's just what it is. I mean, offenses are great, but I mean, it also look at San Francisco. Perfect case in point right there. Pitching and defense. And one of the best managers of all time. He never gets outmanaged. And you know, it's just the reason for what it is, especially in this ballpark. I mean, guys proved it before in the past. You can win here. You got to utilize your defense. It's all aspects of the game.
Yeah, interesting you make that comment. It's an accurate one about Bruce Bochy and how good he is as a manager. Chris Snyder coming up now for the first time. How important is it for the Astros manager next year to be good strategically, or is it more important for him to be a teacher and a developer of talent?
I think it's all the above. I mean, I think that you want to have the best strategic guy that you can have, the best personality guy that you can have. To me, I mean, you know, we're looking at getting the best baseball guy and not necessarily getting the best interview guy. We've been down this road before with that. So, I mean, it's proven in baseball with the Jim Lelands of the world and Bruce Bochy's of the world. I mean, you know, they're around for a reason because they're darn good at it. And there's a lot of great baseball people that are out there. And we've had some good baseball guys come through those offices over there.
Here toward left center field. McCutchen moves over for it. We haven't even talked much about your career at all.
I forgot I played. That was so long ago.
He's an exec.
Yeah. The media guys are kind of like, hey, is that another jacket? I'm like, have you doubled up yet? I'm like, no, I think I'm doing okay. I mean, I got a wardrobe of stuff. I just really never like to wear it. But, you can always dress something up with a pair of jeans and a jacket on.
Patty tightens you up.
Have you ever made a trip to the Hall of Fame at Cooperstown, New York?
I did when I was little, and, and it was a long time ago. So I'm kind of at the stage now that, we'll see what happens. But, I mean, it's a magical place right there.
Oh, it is. A great place.
This game of baseball, we're so lucky. And it's transformed. I mean, Brownie, you got more years than we do, so you can go back a little bit further. But, what an amazing game. And you never know what you're going to see. And look, these kids nowadays, ability-wise, there's strong, talent-wise,
Mike Trout.
If they can start tapping into the mental aspect of the game a little bit sooner, you know what I mean? You're talking about some magical kids that have a chance to be around for 10, 15 years.
We'll see you before next July at Cooperstown. Thanks for joining us.
All right,
Greg.
boys. Had a good time. Thanks, man.
Practice your speech.
3-0.
Top 3-0 as we move to the third. And at this time, we want to talk about the 2010 draft because it is shaping up to be a very good one for the Houston Astros. And the two guys they took in the first round of that draft have just been named the team's player and minor league player and pitcher of the year. So we want to congratulate Mike Foltynewicz on my right is the minor league pitcher of the year. Delino DeShields on my left, the minor league player of the year. Delino, let's start with you. Talk about what you did this year and how you developed, and 101 stolen bases, I think, says a lot right there.
Yeah, definitely. I came a long way. It was real fun this year. It was, my teammates and my family, the fans, everybody helped me along through the way. And, it was a great experience. We won a championship this year in Lancaster. I broke stolen base record.
Yeah.
And, it was just a lot of fun.
Now, you had to deal with a lot since you came out of high school. There's a lot of expectations on you because you're Delino DeShields' son, right? Yeah. And, you're a number one pick, and then they immediately ask you to make a position change from outfield to second base. You were dealing with a lot. You seem to have come through it all okay.
Yeah. A lot of that was growing up. I had to grow up real fast, and, I took the challenge, and I think I handled it pretty well, and still have a lot of stuff to work on, and I know that, but I'm not going to stop. So, yeah.
Keep running. That's for darn sure, right? All right, Mike Foltynewicz, big right-hander. Talked to you a couple years ago when they drafted you, and on that day, I remember your head was spinning a little bit that day. You've come a long way since then.
Yeah, I've come a long way since getting drafted, like you said. Head was spinning, and just getting thrown in there at such a young age, it was hard for me, and I grew up a lot. The mental part of the game really hit me, and I really come a long ways from there, and everything's clicked for me. It's been a lot of fun.
Pretty good numbers this year in A-ball, 14-4 with a 3.14 ERA. Talk about how you have progressed as a pitcher coming out of high school and the challenges you faced starting to face, professional hitters.
Yeah, I know I just can't just throw it wherever I want it, and I know you got to have a lot of control, got to have a lot of command, and I've come a long ways since I got drafted. My pitching coach Borkowski has worked with me a lot. The mental part of the game has been big before my starts and leading up to the starts, and just knowing what to do in the off season as well. In the first full year, I knew what to expect, and I took it into the off season and trained accordingly, and had a lot of success, and hope to continue that.
Well, the last thing for both of you guys, this is a good time to be an Astros farmhand, because if you show that you can play and produce, you're going to be elevated through the system. I got to think that's an exciting time for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. It's so exciting, man, to know what the office is trying to do, build up the minor league system and, move us guys. And, it's not going to be a cakewalk, but, we still got to perform and play well and all that stuff. And, but just to know where the direction is going, it's pretty exciting.
Especially for you, Mike, they're always looking for pitching, right? And if you can put up the numbers, they're going to elevate you through the system. That's got to be good to know.
It's good to know. And I'm just going to go out there and try to keep continuing to have years like I did did this year, and I hope all goes well, and it's going to be fun.
All right, they are your minor league pitcher and players of the year, Mike Fultonevich and Delino DeShields Jr. Thank you, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Brownie, back up to you.
Thanks, Bart. Clint Barmas bunted, and then the bunt bounced up in the air and came down, hit him on the back when he was in fair territory, so he was out. And Marte had to come back to first after his single, so 1 out, and it's Andrew McCutchen at 338. Coming up for the second time. He grounded to third in the first inning. Big time year. MVP candidate, pitch out, and the runner going, and the throw is there, and the tag by Altuve. And Marte's gone down, so this inning is blowing up on the Pirates after the leadoff single. Now it's 2 outs, nobody on.
Astros catchers have been on a nice run here throwing. Castro nailed a couple in St. Louis, as did Carlos Corporal, and now Chris Snyder gets to Speedy Marte on the pitch out, something that Tony DeFrancesco has employed a lot. And this time he absolutely picks the right spot. And as I've mentioned before, it's not always pitching out when a guy's going. That's not the only value in the pitch out, because if you get a reputation for doing it, you're going to shut the other team's running game down a little bit because they're aware of your proclivity to do it. Obviously, there's a downside. It's ball, and if the guy's not going, you can put your hitter or your pitcher in an unfriendly count.
He's facing McCutchen, and it's 2-1. McCutchen can really do some damage. 30 homers, 26 doubles, 5 triples, a .570 slugging percentage for McCutchen. Clint Hurdle's club is 10th in the National League in runs scored. It's in for a strike. That evens the count at 2-2. Edgar Gonzalez went 1 2/3 innings. He allowed 1 hit, no runs. With 1 walk and 1 strikeout, we have not heard the reason that he left the game with the injury in the second inning. That's in for strike 3. McCutchen caught looking, and the top of the third inning really turns awry on the Buccos. It's no runs a hit, nobody left, and it's 3-0 Houston.
Play at 6:05 tomorrow night, but they're big doings at 11 o'clock. It's part of the Astros 50th anniversary celebration presented by Methodist Hospital System. The Astros Legends Luncheon, 11 o'clock tomorrow. Enjoy lunch and a 50th anniversary program with your favorite Astro alumni, including members of the all-time 25-man roster, top 50 for the first 50 years, and more. Get your tickets at Astros.com. Not too late. There's still some seats available, but don't miss out. That's tomorrow at 11 o'clock at Union Station. There's a guy that will be on hand, along with many others of your favorites. Over the years, there's some of them that are expected to attend, include some that are coming from a few miles, like Billy Wagner and others.
Alan Ashby.
He's to change countries.
Wow, he's going to get the award for traveling the furthest for the class reunion.
He has to bring his passport. That's all tomorrow, though.
Altuve smacks a line drive, and it bounces on 2 hops off the left field wall. He's in with a leadoff double here in the third inning. That's his 34th two-base hit of the year. Hit number 3 for the Astros off Locke.
I fool Jose with a breaking ball to strike him out. First time up. This time it looks like a breaking ball, but it's up around the belly button. And that's a low percentage pitch with Altuve up there. With that 350 plus batting average against lefties.
34 two-base hits for Altuve. He leads the club in that department and many others. Brandon Barnes lined a single to right field on an 0-2 count in the first inning. Rode home on the Jed Lowry 3-run homer. Pushes a bunt and it goes foul. Astros are up by 3. And Dominguez on deck as Barnes tries to get Altuve to third. Brandon had a very good year in the minor leagues. A .321 average in combined time between AA Corpus Christi and AAA Oklahoma City. This is his 19th start since he was called up from AAA on the 7th of August. Looks at a strike. That makes it 0-2 for Jeff Locke. Edgar Gonzalez left the game with a strained right hamstring. Carlos Corcoran also had a hamstring problem in yesterday's game. The Astros have several players banged up here in the month of September. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, they got about 35 guys, so they're good.
Yeah, they're
got a lot of
well fixed for bodies.
Yeah. Tony D used 20 or 21 players in yesterday's game.
That's foul back, and it's still a 1 ball, 2 strike count to Brandon Barnes from Orange, California. 6th round choice in the 05 draft by the Astros. And now here 7 years later, he makes it to the big leagues. I think I just get banged in the head with a bag of popcorn. One of the perils of being a fan.
Worst things that can happen.
Foul ball. Well, there's a garage sale out in the Conoco Home Run Alley. When we came on the air, our director Paul Bykowski got a shot of it. A lot of items on sale. Some of them are autographed, and some are autographed by players like Michael Bourne and Hunter Pence. If you're interested in that, it's open until the end of the 7th inning, and you can check out that marketplace. Proceeds benefit the Urban Youth Academy. Coming out tomorrow or Sunday. Check it out.
I wonder if there's any old Sinatra albums out there.
Don't know about that. You would be interested, though, if they had
a nice ice cube tray. Just pick that up at a garage sale.
Did Sinatra sing that song, There Used to Be a Ballpark?
He did.
Okay. Maybe we could find that. In fact, here's an idea. Let's play that song during one entire inning of our remaining games.
They probably won't let us. Sinatra's can't get Sinatra.
Oh, we can't get Sinatra? Wow. Struck him out. How about Three Dog Night? That's strikeout number 4 for Locke. And Matt Dominguez comes up next. He hit a fly ball to right in the 1st inning.
Paul Simon had a baseball song too.
What was it?
I can't recall the name of it. Something about the pitcher dying.
I don't remember that. Dominguez hit a fly ball to right in the 1st inning. It's Philadelphia 5, Atlanta 2, bottom of the 7th in Philly. Phillies are trying to heat up very late in the season. They're 2 games over 500. They have a homer from Ryan Howard, his 13th, and another from Kevin Franson, his 2nd, and Carlos Ruiz also belted number 15.
Cardinals opened the door a little bit. They let one get away this afternoon at Wrigley. Took a 4-2 lead into the bottom of the 9th. There goes Altuve.
And he's going to make it easily without a throw, stealing 3rd for his 32nd stolen base. The Astros are 10 for 10 in base stealing against the Pirates this year.
Trying to keep an eye on him out there, but Locke never really got him headed back to second base. The second baseman was doing his job. Locke just got a little careless, and Altuve took advantage. The Pirates pull the infield in. Anyway, the Cubs tied the game in the bottom of the 9th on a 2-run home run by Darwin Barney, and then won it in the 11th.
We were reading that Jason Mott was not available after saving all 3 games of the Astros series.
Mott and Boggs didn't pitch either. He pitched in all 3 games against the Astros, and he also did not pitch today. Chris Carpenter, however, did pitch, and he pitched well. He gave him 5 innings of 2-run baseball in his 2012 debut.
Dominguez pops it up. Pedro Alvarez gives way. Clint Barmas makes the catch for out number 2. That's a big out for Locke, trailing 3-0. And he'll face Justin Maxwell next. So with the Cardinals losing, that gives the other teams behind them in the wild card race in the National League an opportunity to move up. And it was 11 innings with the Cubs win 5-4. Milwaukee so far failing to cash in, trailing in the top of the 8th at Washington 2-1. And it's 5-2. Philly over Atlanta in the top of the 8th. Philly 4 games behind.
And Milwaukee just won behind the Cardinals in the loss column now. Of course, unless they lose the game tonight, then they'll be back to 2.
They've been putting on a nice run lately. Maxwell walked earlier. Ball 1. The Astros, by the way, have set a club record for home runs by all shortstops on the club combined. Lowry's homer was his 15th, and all the shortstops combined have hit 21 for the Astros this year. Strike makes it 1-1. Lowry has 15. Tyler Green 4. Brian Bixler 1. Marwin Gonzalez 1. Maxwell looks at it. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count for Justin. He's hitting .271 against lefty pitching this year. Yankees lead Oakland 1-0 after 7 in New York with CC Sabathia twirling a shutout. There was an odd happening early in that game as the Oakland starter, Jared Parker, got a hit down his shirt. Hit by Ichiro. The ball bounced up and it went inside his shirt. 3 balls and strike.
Hopping around out there trying to pull the ball out so he could make a throw and never could.
That hasn't happened in a while.
And remember the old Terry Mulholland play where the ball got wedged between the fingers of his glove, and he ultimately took his glove off and threw that to first base.
He got the guy out too, didn't he?
Yeah.
So keep your shirts buttoned up when you're in the field. There's ball 4. Maxwell reaching. And Lowry will have a second opportunity to do what he did in the first inning. Just as we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Rock tried to sneak a fastball by him in the inner half, and Lowry, with that quick stroke, jumped all over it. Ray Sears, the pitching coach, now working his way out to the mound to talk to his young left-hander. They're down 3 already. Very important situation for the Buccos.
Game 1 of a 3-game series. They're trying to get back to 500 here tonight. Tomorrow night, it's Dallas Keuchel and Kevin Correa. That game will not be televised. Jordan Lyles and AJ Burnett go on Sunday. We'll be back on the air with Astros Live Sunday at 12:30 leading up to that game. And then the Cardinals are here Monday night through Wednesday night. Lowry on a 2-1 pitch hit that drive you just saw a moment ago for a 3-run homer. 15 homers now for Jed and 41 runs batted in. Putting a punctuation mark on his season now after being out for about 2 months with a leg injury, coming back and getting meaningful hits in September. That's exactly what he was hoping to do. Way outside for ball 1. Red Wallace on deck. There's a delayed start in Detroit where the Twins are waiting to bat in the top of the first against Tigers right-hander Rick Porcello due to inclement weather. They'll wait forever on that one. 2 balls, no strikes. The team has a lot of impact on the race in the AL Central. Right now, the White Sox lead Detroit by 2 games.
So they're giving Jed Lowry essentially the entire right side of the infield with the second baseman Holt. She had way over towards the bag, and the first baseman Sanchez holding J-Max there. Almost tempting him, almost asking him to give up the notion of hitting a 3-run homer. To go ahead, take a shot at that hole. Look at what we're offering you.
He might settle for an RBI single through that hole, but he has a 3-0 count. Guessing green light here. Strike, and it's 3-1 for Lowry. Sean Markham started for Milwaukee. He's out of the game after 6 innings of 2-run baseball. It's Edwin Jackson for Washington, pitching very well tonight with the 2-1 lead after 7 in Washington. Lowry takes that one, and now it's 3-2. And the runner for first will be going, Maxwell.
Jed shocked, if not stunned, by that call by Eric Cooper.
He was.
Number 5. I think he might have been a little away.
Locke is trying for his first major league win. He's 0-4 with a 5.34 ERA. Runner going, and it's bounced foul. Moved into the rotation, and also has had some relief appearances since coming up from the minor leagues in August. It is a major league debut, and he lost a 3-0 game at PNC Park. He was 10-5 with a 2.48 ERA at Indianapolis. And it's a strikeout. Lowry was ahead 3-0, and he struck out to end the 3rd inning. Strikeout number 5 for Locke. No runs, a hit, 2 men left. After 3-0 Astros.
It was Saturday morning. She sure looks like a hometown kid. And she probably doesn't know the score, but the show isn't either. It's about the experience with Emily Reppert every Saturday at 10 a.m. Here's the deal. Tomorrow morning, if you're coming over here for the Astros Legends Luncheon at 11, tickets still available at Astros.com. Set your DVR or your VCR, watch the show, or watch it live. More information at hometownkids.tv. And by the way, I have more information. JD was talking earlier about the Paul Simon song, where the pitcher died. Night Game's the name of it. Opening stanza, there were 2 men down. The score was tied in the bottom of the 8th when the pitcher died. What a depressing song.
Yeah. It's a very slow song, too. It talks about rolling the tarpaulin out onto the field.
Yeah. That's how it ends. There were 3 men down, the season lost, and the tarpaulin rolled upon the winter frost.
Boy.
Happy moments, Paul.
That's the way baseball fans feel at the end of the year.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but the pitchers don't die.
No, not literally. Metaphorically, many times, over and over.
0-2 to Garrett Jones.
It's all right. You can just fast forward to Kodachrome, and that'll get you in higher spirits.
Jones fouls it back with the infield shifted around. That puts Altuve out in right field. Sanchez and Alvarez to follow here in the 4th inning. Edgar Gonzalez went an inning and 2/3. He left with a hamstring problem. Therefore, he cannot be the winning pitcher tonight. Fernando Rodriguez could be. It's 1-2. Pirates have 19 consecutive losing seasons. They're 1 game under 500 right now after being 16 games over 500. They were in first place in July. Swing and a miss, and Jones strikes out. He's tagged out by Snyder. 1 down, and strikeout number 4.
Yeah, some real similarities to last year when the Pirates did that fast fade late in the year. And the Pirates last year were in first place at the end of July, but they never got 16 games above 500 last year. They were in first place because the division was pretty mediocre. I think they were 5 or 6 games above 500 when they were in first place. But this year, they were 16 games above 500, and the notion that they would have to scrap to finish 500 or better was off the radar.
Yeah. Curveball strike to Gabby Sanchez. He whiffed back in the 2nd inning. It's Baltimore 4, Boston 2. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning in Boston with Miguel Gonzalez pitching well for the Orioles. The Orioles looking strong for a playoff spot right now. They're 1 game behind the Yankees in the AL East, but they are in a position to be a wild card playoff team as of today. Not only that, but they're tied with Oakland, and both those clubs are 4.5 better than the Angels.
Yeah, there's only most clubs have 12 games left, so
yeah,
the math is really in the favor of those 2 clubs now.
1 ball, 1 strike. Gabby Sanchez, formerly with the Marlins. He lines this one to right field. Justin Maxwell with a catch. 2 down. Pedro Alvarez will follow. Dodgers and Cincinnati are tied 1-1 after 7. Johnson Arroyo's on the mound for the Reds. And the Dodgers are now 4 games over 500. They had a rough series in Washington. Joe Blanton started for them. He went 5 2/3, giving up 1 run. And they may not get Clayton Kershaw back. They're not sure if he's going to be able to pitch again this year. Alvarez singled earlier. This ground ball goes to Lowry on the first base side. And it's an 8-pitch inning for Fernando Rodriguez. He maintains a 3-0 Houston lead in the 4th.
Houston is brought to you by the All-American Jack Combo. Jack in the Box, a no-nonsense burger, fries, and a drink, only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. By the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. And by the motion picture Looper in theaters September 28th. Astros lead at 3-0. The first big notice of the game, however, happened in the second inning when the Astros lost their starting pitcher. Garrett Jones with this little dribbler. And Gonzalez, racing to first base, tweaked the hamstring. He had to come out before the inning was over. And that's too bad because he already had a lead thanks to this 3-run homer by Lowry in the bottom of the first. Efroth has pitched very well out of the bullpen, and that remains the score, 3-0 as we go back to action with Brownie and JD.
And Brett Wallace in the box. He hits it in the air. Jeff Locke goes back behind the mound and now watches the second Sackert come in. Holt makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the home 4th inning. Well, the former Rice Owl came in to make that play. Now it's JD Martinez batting. JD struck out in the second inning. Chris Snyder's on deck. Then the pitcher's spot would be coming up. Nobody warming up in the Astros bullpen as Fernando Rodriguez stretches it out tonight.
Congratulations to the Washington Nationals. Yesterday they clinched at least a wild card berth.
Yeah.
So there will be playoff baseball in the nation's capital for the first time since 1933.
Isn't that amazing?
Of course, there was a lot of years where there was no baseball in the nation's capital, but still noteworthy.
79 years ago, player manager Joe Cronin and the Senators lost to the New York Giants in 5 games in the World Series. And the Reds have clinched a playoff spot. No balls, 2 strikes to JD Martinez. The Nationals are only the 5th team in modern history to post 3 consecutive seasons winning 10 or more games than the year prior. 1 ball, 1 strike. They have shown rapid improvement after being a 100-loss club. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And they've built largely from within. They have added some free agents along the way. They've had a couple of impact rookies, of course, this year. Steven Strasburg, Bryce Harper. And Zimmerman's had a strong year. Tony DeFrancesco watching JD Martinez hit with a 2-2 count now. It's been fun on these flashback Fridays all season long with the Astros wearing the retro uniforms. Tomorrow night, the shooting star jersey and the rainbow jersey on Sunday. There's Mickey Story in the bullpen and a curveball strikeout, number 6 for Locke. Visit MLB.com/fan guide for a chance to win a VIP experience for 2 this year at an MLB World Series game. Presented by Scotts, the official lawn care company of MLB. 2 outs, and it's Chris Snyder now. Chris hit a fly ball to center in the second inning. Phillies are leading Atlanta 6-2. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning in Philadelphia. Now Chase Utley's hit his 11th homer. Strike for Snyder. The Phillies are going to need a furious finish if they're to return to the playoffs another year. They've been an institution in those playoffs the last 5 years. No balls, 2 strikes. They started Kyle Kendrick tonight. He pitched well, 6 2/3 innings, 2 runs allowed. Tommy Hanson got the call for the Braves. He gave up 5 earned runs in 5 1/3. There's a ball to Snyder, and it's 1-2.
6 strikeouts already for Locke, most of them coming on that breaking ball. That's the challenge, lay off that good hook.
John Smoltz was on the MLB Network. Didn't catch all of what he said, but I think what he was saying was that if the Braves are one of the wild card teams, and apparently they will be at this point, he would not pitch in that wild card 1-game playoff game, either Tim Hudson or Chris Medlin.
Yeah, I actually heard that. He was nuts.
Strikeout number 7, and after 4, the Astros lead the Buccos, and it's 3-0.
Build Mazda's What Do You Drive? Looking ahead to game 2 of this series tomorrow, the Astros will send Dallas Keuchel back to the bump, and he'll be trying to build on a very good performance his last time out against the Phillies, in which he threw 5 1/3 scoreless innings in a game the Astros went on to win 5-0. He'll be making just his 15th major league start, but he's already lost twice to these Pirates, so he'll be trying to turn that around against Kevin Correa, who is 11-9 with a 4.09 ERA. That game is not televised, so if you want to see Keuchel against Correa, you got to go to Astros.com, buy a ticket, and spend your Saturday night watching baseball right here at Minute Maid Park. That's your Mazda game break. Back to Brownie and JD.
Brett Dolan on the left, Dave Raymond on the right, Lowell Matheny up above them. Over in the Astros radio booth tonight. They'll have the game for you tomorrow night. And you can tune in at about 5:40 for the pregame show on Astros radio. We move to the 5th inning, and it's Fernando Rodriguez. Michael McHenry drew a walk in the 2nd inning. After that walk, Edgar Gonzalez's right hamstring was bothering him from that earlier play in the inning on Jones's roller, apparently, and he had to come out.
Just to pick up on that conversation that we ended the last half inning with on Smoltz and how they set up their pitching for the postseason. And John was saying, he was saying, and he admitted, I'm thinking outside the box here. If you want to win the World Series, would you not be better off saving those guys for that wild card round and pitching somebody at the back end of your rotation? And that way, if you get in, then you're better positioned to go deeper in the postseason. Right, was his argument. But I think if you start Medlin or Hudson in the play-in game, you still have the other guy to start game 1, and then that guy could come back later on in that round. I'm not sure the schedule of it. He was just trying to think outside the box.
He was taking a strong position on network TV.
Yeah. Imagine if you were managing the Braves and they had a play-in game. That ball would sit in Chris Medlin's locker or Tim Hudson's locker when they showed up at the ballpark that day.
Brock Holt takes, and there's strike 1. Holt reached on what was ruled an infield hit to Jed Lowry that loaded the bases in the 2nd inning, and there appeared to be miscommunication on the part of the Astros middle infielders, but then Fernando Rodriguez got out of that bases loaded trouble by striking out the pitcher Jeff Locke after that.
Yeah, this slide that the Pirates are in, have been in for quite some time now, it's culpability all the way around. The offense has gone south. The starting pitching has struggled. The bullpen has spit it up from time to time. It's just been a general malaise for this Pirate club.
Just off the corner. 2 balls and a strike. Locke is on deck, but James McDonald, a right-hander, is in the bullpen warming up. McDonald has been removed from the starting rotation recently.
He's been a part of their struggles, obviously. He was so good in the first half.
Foul back, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. J.D. Martinez is not too far inside the left field line on Brock Holt. Clint Hurdle, of course, had to plug that gap at second base with Walker being out with an injury, and Holt has really helped. Holt started the year Double-A, and then bumped up to Triple-A. He hit .432 in 24 Triple-A games after hitting .322 in 102 AA games. Fouls that high fastball back, and it's still 2 balls, 2 strikes. 33 pitches so far for Fernando Rodriguez, and a great ratio of strikes to balls. 25 strikes, 8 balls for Fernando. He's due to lead off the bottom of the inning. He is in a position right now to be the winning pitcher in this game. That would be up to the official scorer, though. Still 2-2 for Fernando. Sure would be nice for him to reach the win column after absorbing 10 losses this season. His only win was April 30th here against New York. Tap foul.
And generally relief pitchers don't worry a whole lot about wins and losses, and you certainly don't analyze them based on their 1-loss record. But when it's skewed as significantly as it is in one way or the other, it gets your attention. And obviously 1-10 is not good, regardless of what your role is.
This is the longest outing of Fernando's career in the majors. He worked 2 1/3 innings last September at Wrigley Field. He's gone further than that tonight. Fastball fouled away. 2 2/3 so far in this game. He's sailing along. After the single by Marte, and one thing that really helped him was that pitch out. Marte was thrown out trying to steal on it. Then he got Barmas on the foul bunt, the fair bunt rather than hit him. Foul ball there keeps Holt alive at 2-2. This will be the 10th pitch to Brock Holt. Neil Walker had just returned from an injury. Played yesterday, went 1 for 5. But he couldn't make the call tonight after being on the lineup card about 4 o'clock this afternoon. 2 Hopper out to second. Altuve on to first. 2 down.
And they're rolling along. It's going to make it easy for the official score to award him the win if the Astros hang on and win the game. Don't surrender this lead. Every time I see Altuve's back and I see that number of black and gold, I think Juan Marichal.
Oh, yeah. High kicking right-hander. He was fun to watch. He had all kinds of different arm angles, different pitches from those arm angles. Jeff Locke is going to bat because there's nobody on and there are 2 outs in the inning. And also because after the 3-run first, he's been effective. Strike 1. Locke struck out with the bases loaded, though, in the 2nd inning. Third ball comes in, and it's no balls, 2 strikes. Oakland has just tied the Yankees with a 9th inning run, and it's 1-1. Still batting with a runner at first and 2 outs against Rafael Soriano. Brandon Moss hit his 19th homer. The Oakland club has had the magic going. 1-2. Difficult place to play. Yankee Stadium, and the Yankees are pushing hard, but Oakland is 13-3 in its last 16 road games. That's the best of any team in the majors since August 24th. The A's have 4 straight wins over the Yankees, all 4 by 1 run. Swing and a miss there, and it's a strikeout. And that is number 4 for Fernando Rodriguez, maintaining the Astros 3-0 lead. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning after doing an outstanding job. Fernando went 3 1/3 innings, giving up 2 hits, no runs. He had no walks and 4 strikeouts. He could be the winning pitcher in this game. He took over with 2 men on and 2 outs in the 2nd inning. Jose Valdez is warming up for the Astros. The pinch hitter for Fernando Rodriguez will be Brandon Laird. That's the longest career outing in the majors for Fernando. Laird comes up to lead it off against the lefty Jeff Locke. Laird has been playing a little bit lately in the starting lineup. Yesterday he was 1 for 2 with 2 runs batted in. As the first baseman, he had a bases loaded walk and an RBI single in that game. Also reached on an error. Strike 1 to Brandon. Wednesday night he went 2 for 4 with a double. That was his first major league double and first multi-hit game. It came from the Yankees on a waiver claim. It's no balls, 2 strikes with Jose Valdez in the bullpen with Coach Craig Bjornson there. One and 2. Fernando Rodriguez to 43 pitches, 33 of them strikes. That is outstanding work. Coming in the second inning out of the bullpen when a relief pitcher doesn't expect to get the call, but old saying always be ready comes into play on a night like this. Struck him out looking. JD, as far as a long reliever, and that's, by the way, strikeout number 8 for Jeff Locke. Would Fernando know on a night like tonight? Or, you know, you got Mickey Story out there, you got Chucky Fick. Would they know, hey, if something happens early, you're probably first up? Would they be told that?
Not likely. I think typically what happens at most major league clubs, players get used to being used in a certain role. And, of course, nobody's used to coming into the game that early. Almost never happens. But there's usually guys who know that they're the long men. Fernando, his role most of this year has not been to be used like that. That's not to say that he wasn't told. Well, I played for Jimmy Riggleman in the minor leagues, and I don't know if he continued to do it as a big league manager, but he would do that. He would go around and talk to the relief pitcher. Okay, you're my short guy tonight. You know, I'm going to use you in the 7th, or you're in the middle. And usually at the big league level, those roles are, you know, you kind of figure them out early in the year and guys settle in, and that's how they're used. And if they're going to be used differently from this point going forward, a manager might say, you know, I'm going to come to you a little bit earlier from now on.
Barmas charging and getting the out at first. He really had to hurry, and he got a lot on that throw to nip Altuve. Fans are buzzing about that call at first base. Jeff Kellogg.
You can look at the play here, very close. Barmas, an outstanding defender, gets off a strong throw. Heads or tails?
Like the ball just barely beating there. What was that close? That was really close. Down on one knee, he had a good look at it. Now Brandon Barnes takes ball 1. He has a single and a run scored tonight in 2 trips. Good play by Barmas. 2 balls, no strikes.
Swing hard. Got a baby.
Yes, he did. 2-1 for Brandon. Milwaukee just flipped Washington with 2 runs in the top of the 9th inning, taking a 3-2 lead.
Little flinch.
Yeah.
You can tell if that was going straight back or straight at him.
Yeah. 3 balls, 1 strike now to Barnes. So the Brewers, who got the Jonathan Lucroy home run along the way in that game, his 10th, now have a 3-2 lead. They're still batting in the 9th. And that's a strike. 3-2 to Barnes. Tyler Clippard is in the game. Could be an awfully big win for Milwaukee at Washington. That's a walk.
Sniffed that one out. He took that like he knew it was coming.
Yep.
Straight changeup.
3rd walk of the night for Jeff Locke. He's thrown 81 pitches, 50 have been strikes.
Locke only had 2 walks in his previous outings total coming into this game.
Matt Dominguez has hit the ball in the air twice, once to right field, once to shortstop. Locke in that last start hit a wall Took the mound in the 5th inning at Wrigley Field on Sunday with a 6-1 lead, but failed to make it out of the frame after giving up 4. He was charged with 5 runs in 4 1/3 innings and got a no decision as the Pirates lost it 13-9 after leading it 6-1. That's been what's happening for a while to the Pirates.
Well, as soon as you throw that 3-2 changeup and the guy lays off it for the walk, you just want to pull it back and get a do-over. Because you're thinking, well, if I make a good pitch, I could fool him and punch him out. But that's a pitch that almost by design is not going to be in the strike zone. So you're counting on the hitter not recognizing the pitch, being aggressive. And when you've got a 3-0 lead, once you walk that guy, you're thinking, yeah, that's dumb. I should just challenge him with a heater. Okay, now he's got some power guys coming up behind him.
Out to center field, McCutchen backing for the play to end the 5th inning with no runs, no hits, and a man stranded. After 5, it's 3-0 Houston. And the question is, the Astros set a franchise record with 8 stolen bases against the Pirates on May 23rd, 1990. Name the players who had the 8 steals. 1990. We'll get to that in a minute. First of all, it is right-hander Jose Valdez coming out of the Houston bullpen with a 3-0 lead to try to protect. Here in the 6th inning, he has no decisions. His ERA is 2.16.
Saw Jose yesterday for 2/3 of an inning. He allowed a hit, had a walk, had a strikeout, no runs. The Astros bullpen was really good yesterday, except for the big double by Carlos Beltran off Wesley Wright that played at 2. Those were charged to Bud Norris, so all 5 of the Cardinals' runs went on Bud's ledger.
Valdez will face Marte, who singled to center field in the 3rd inning and then was thrown out on the pitch out trying to steal. Starling is 1 for 2. Corner infielders in a little closer. And he hits one by the shortstop Lowry into left center field. Barnes over to pick it up. And Marte has his 2nd hit of the night. It leads off the 6th the way he led off the 3rd.
Well, the 3rd he got caught trying to steal when Tony D called for a pitch out. We'll see what the strategy is here. They're down 3 runs. They can't afford to be giving up outs on the base paths. Jumps all over that first pitch fastball. Again, Jed with that knee brace on, still doesn't have the strength nor the mobility that he normally would have.
Armas is the batter, taking ball 1. Well, let's see. In a game 1990, stolen bases for the Astros. We're going to guess Biggio and Bagwell. Let's see, 1990.
Cool
maybe.
breeze.
Cool breeze.
Eric Yelding stole a bunch of bases that year.
Yeah. How about let's see, Eric Yelding. How about Gerald Young? Was he there in 1990? Not sure.
Yeah, it's so long ago.
1 ball, 1 strike. Xavier Cedeno is warming up for Houston. Maybe for Garrett Jones, who's the cleanup man. It is 3-0 in the 6th inning. Ground ball and diving Altuve flips it over his head to Lowry. What a phenomenal play. Flipped it back up over his head to Lowry on 1 bounce to force Marte at 2nd.
Pretty good. This is slick here. Looks like they might have a 1st and 3rd situation, but Altuve snags it and then gets his man. This is really good. Little hook pass. You could play for the Globetrotters.
Oh, this is wizardry.
Get out of Dodge.
That is a beautiful play. Out number 1 keeps the double play in order. McCutchen the batter. McCutchen's 0 for 2. That's ball 1. That's 4 hits for the Pirates. They've all been singles. The Astros had the big Lowry 3-run homer in the 1st. They've been held to 3 hits. Pirates are 11-3 against Houston this season. That's a smash into center field. McCutchen's aboard, and he's 1 for 3. First and second for Garrett Jones with 1 out now.
Well, McCutchen came into this game with a .420 average against the Astros. He had a number of huge games, so a 1 for would be just fine.
Who were those guys who stole the 8 bases against the Pirates May 23rd, 1990? Eric Yelding had 4, Casey Candell 2, Bill Doran 1, Ken Caminetti 1.
Bob Walk there doing color for the Pirates was the pitcher that day.
Okay. He might not want to be reminded of that, but he doesn't know about it. As we get a pitching change, lefty Xavier Cedeno coming in to face Garrett Jones right after this.
Here on the Fox Television Network, first Aaron Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington get you ready for kickoff with the Fox College Saturday pregame show. Then a couple of unbeaten teams from the Big 12 will clash. 15th ranked Kansas State's Wildcats. They'll be in Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Sooners. They're ranked 6th in the Big 12 opener for both clubs. Coverage of Fox College football begins tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central.
Thanks, Greg. Now we have a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Xavier Cedeno in the game. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Facing lefty hitting Garrett Jones. He's 0-1 with a 4.13 ERA. He got 1 out in yesterday's game.
Well, this is exactly how a lefty specialist makes his money right here. Dangerous left-handed hitter representing the tying run. You can make the point, sometimes it's just one batter and out. Good work if you can get it, but you have to be successful a very high percentage of the time to justify the job. The numbers certainly support this move. Jones really struggling against lefties, and Xavier's been good against left-handed hitters. He's struck out almost a third of the left-handed batters he has faced.
They're hitting .241 off him. In his last 12 confrontations with lefty hitters, they have 1 hit, and they've struck out 6 times. Tony D has numbers on his side with this move. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count with Gabby Sanchez on deck. So the Astros are ready to move back to a right-handed pitcher after this confrontation.
The expanded roster, the extra arms allows you to do more of this early in the game. You can go left, right, left if need be. Because after Sanchez, you got Pedro Alvarez, obviously their most dangerous left-handed hitter.
Fly ball center field. Barnes backing on it. Armas will tag. That's out number 2. Throw goes into second base. Barmas to third. Cedeno gets his man. Gabby Sanchez is due up next, but we expect a pitching change before he bats.
And we get Brocail, so it looks like they're going to let him pitch.
Okay.
And I think the reason why, excuse me, is because it is only the 6th inning. If they bring a righty in here to face Sanchez and he reaches, then you probably have to bring, or you would feel compelled to bring Wesley Wright in to face Alvarez, which again you have the option of doing, but then you wouldn't have another lefty. So I'm kind of contradicting myself by saying you can make these moves earlier in the game, but when you still only have 2 lefties, you got to be careful how you use them.
Gabby Sanchez is 1 for 1 against Cedeno. Right-handed hitters have much better numbers against the lefty. They're hitting .304 against Xavier in 56 at bats. That's ball 1. Sanchez has struck out and fly to right in this game. The Mets knocked off Miami in New York 7-3. Jonathan Neese winning his 12th against 9 losses. Jacob Turner, he's 2-4. Ike Davis hit his 28th homer. Scott Hairston, number 18. The Phillies beat Atlanta 6-2. Kyle Kendrick winning his 10th. Beating Tommy Hanson, who's 12-9.
Look at Milwaukee. Put a 3 spot on the board in the top of the 9th.
What a big inning for that club. If they can hold off the Nationals with that 4-2 lead now in the bottom of the ninth, and John Axford on the mound, they're a game and a half behind the Cardinals for that second wild card spot. Only one game in the loss column.
I believe they have one series left, those two clubs.
Okay. 3 balls, no strikes to Sanchez. Well, if he walks him, he stays in against Alvarez, presumably. Maintaining that lefty on lefty situation. We'll see how this one goes. And 3-0, he certainly doesn't want to throw anything in a groove for him.
Yeah, and I would think with the lefty on deck, unless Alvarez has been having very good at bats lately against left-handed pitching, they would turn Sanchez loose here.
3-1.
Looked like he was ready to hit, but he laid off.
Sanchez has had a frustrating year. Began the season with the Marlins. They sent him down to the minor leagues. And he was traded on July 31st. He hit only .202 for Miami in 183 at bats this season. He hit just 3 homers there in 55 games. He draws a walk and the bases are loaded now. Not the worst confrontation outcome certainly for Cedeno. Now if he can get Alvarez, he still preserves this 3-0 lead. Joe Patini is moving Jed Lowry a little bit in his positioning, or telling him where to play at shortstop. Alvarez is 1 for 2. Jed's going to shade up the middle. Altuve's headed for the grass in shallow right field. They're expecting Alvarez to pull if he hits it on the ground.
Well, there's the breakdown left and right. He has hit 6 home runs against lefties, so he's not completely diminished in the power department, but he was completely fooled by that breaking ball. And that's the problem. That's the pitch he has a hard time laying off. I would suspect any fastballs from Cedeno in this sequence would be way up or way out.
He fooled on that one, and it's 0-2 to Alvarez. Alvarez leads National League third baseman in homers with 29. As Barmas at third base, McCutchen at second, and Sanchez at first. Swing and a miss. A steady diet of breaking stuff gets it done for Cedeno. He puts up a 0. The Pirates get 2 hits. They leave 3. It's 3-0 Houston.
The 6th inning, James McDonald warming it up for the Buccos. Other changes. Jose Tabata has come into the ballgame to play at right field. And Garrett Jones slides from right field to first base. McDonald, we talked about him earlier. The angular right-hander was so good early on. He's really scuffled since August in ERA above 6. Overall, he's 12-8 with a 4.05 ERA through 29 starts, 1 complete game. So now he finds himself in the bullpen at the end of the day. If he's able to pitch well between now and the end of the year, he'll be able to look back on a pretty solid season with that good work. But when they really needed him most, he faltered. It's been a theme 2 years in a row now for the Pirates, especially in that starting pitching department.
And that's tough to swallow, the way their team has slumped in the second half both years. 3-0 game. McDonald making his first relief appearance after 29 starts. Jeff Locke in 5 innings, allowing just 3 hits, but 3 runs on that one swing of the bat by Jed Lowry, the 3-run homer in the first. Justin Maxwell looks at ball 1 way inside.
Locke certainly has the stuff to play here at the big leagues. That curveball is a plus pitch. He ended up punching out 8 tonight. He's got enough fastball, and for the most part, his location was good.
It's 2 balls, no strikes. For Locke, 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. That's ripped on a line to left field, and that will make it for Landry Rays Crawford boxes for a home run for Justin Maxwell. Number 17. 4-0 Astros. He's got all over that 2-0 pitch, and that gives him 50 runs batted in.
He wants to make sure Jed doesn't pass him for the club home run lead. His 15th tonight. That's number 17 for J-Max, who he's in the top 10 in the league in home run ratio. He doesn't have enough at bats to qualify among the leaders overall, but among guys with at least 300 plate appearances, he's in the top 10 in that department.
Kevin Allen was very steady on that camera. That ball hit right at his feet, it looked like, on that angle. That one jumped out for J-Max. 4-run lead. That's ball one to Lowry. Lowry hit the first long ball of the night. Then he struck out. Tight breaking ball. Kevin Allen's camera almost took a shot here, JD.
But he doesn't even flinch.
No.
He just stays right on it. God, the glove didn't make the play. Why bring your glove?
Oh, hit by the pitch right on that right knee brace. That might have gotten him on the side of the knee, in between where the brace part of it is. But yeah, he's grimacing now as he walks gingerly toward first base. Now Rex Jones is going to come out and see if he's okay to stay in. Looks like he got him just above the bottom part of that brace. So that probably caught bone.
Yeah, because that brace is there to lend support, but it's not like there's a lot of padding, especially right there where the knee has to be able to bend, so you can't lock that up.
Ouch. He has limited mobility anyway with that brace. 17,903 the attendance tonight. Lowry staying in, shaking his head. Isn't that the case when a guy gets hurt? There's another injury to that same area.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Probably rather take a heater in the rib cage.
Exactly. Brett Wallace grounded out to first and popped to second. Brian Bogusevic is in the on-deck circle. J.D. Martinez scheduled up next. That's ball one. And McDonald is off to a rocky start in his relief outing, his first of the year. Bogusevic there. 4 runs on 4 hits for Houston. No runs on 5 hits for Pittsburgh. Line shot into the right field corner. Now Lowry's going to be tested on this. Dave Clark's going to bring him to third. He's going to want it to score him, and he's going to be able to score without a throw. That ball did not come out of the right field corner for a while with Kopitar giving chase. Lowry comes around to score, and it's 5-0. And in with a triple is Wallace.
Something happened down in the right field corner. Clint Hurdle wants an explanation. As this ball goes all the way deep into the corner, settles underneath the padding. That ball's in play.
Yep. It was not lodged, and that might be what his argument is. Well, Lowry, oh, do I have to do this?
Come on, Kopitar, pick it up.
Yeah, it's the last thing you want to have to do on an injured right knee. But Hurdle has caused the umpires to huddle now. If the ball is lodged underneath the padding, then that could be called, for instance, a double in the umpire's judgment. It didn't seem to be lodged.
No, there's no lodging going on there whatsoever.
Still rolling around.
There's not even the potential for lodging, I don't believe. There's plenty of clearance there.
Morris and Takahashi are warming up. Jeff Kellogg with the call. That's the first triple for Wallace this year. Usually a ball in that area of the field is not a triple, but Wallace gets number 1. Tony D happy about that, and the infield comes in with Brian Bogusevic pinch hitting for J.D. Martinez, who had 2 strikeouts. Runner at third, nobody out, and the Astros up 5-0. Hurdle moves the infielders in tight. Bogusevic at 205 with 6 homers, has 26 driven in As a pinch hitter, he is 7 for 30, and he's driven in 3. Ball 1 to him. Hurdle has a left-hander warming up, but he's staying with McDonald here. Snyder on deck.
Again, this is a move that you would see in September. You wouldn't see during the first 5 months of the season. You wouldn't use a pinch hitter in this situation with a 5-run lead and a man on third, nobody out, regardless of the left-right splits. But you got all those extra players. Not so much worried about burning one here. You might as well take advantage of the opportunity. And now, presumably, Bogusevic goes in to play the outfield, and he's a plus defender.
McDonald has started 3 games against the Astros. He's won 1 and lost 2 this year. 2 of the starts are very good there. Way up, and he does not have command of his pitches in this game. It's 3-1.
12 pitches made, 8 balls, 4 strikes, and when he throws it in there, it's gotten whacked.
He lost a tough one to Bud Norris, 1-0 at Pittsburgh in May to Houston. Now back 3-2 now. He won an 11-2 ball game in Pittsburgh, pitching very well in that one, and he lost at Houston, giving up 5 runs in 5 innings in a 9-5 loss July 29th. Full count to Bogusevic. Ryan fouls it back.
Bogey hasn't had a lot of chances lately. It'd be nice to see him cash this one in, pick up an RBI.
He's 0 for his last 11. In September, 3 hits and 21 at bats for a 143 average. Wallace the runner there at third. That one is high. A pinch walk for Bogusevic.
We gonna make a play up here? No. Oh, the agony. Spanning the globe.
Glenn Hurdle's out to make a change with Chris Snyder coming up next. Scott Moore is going to be on deck to pinch hit after Snyder for the pitcher. That's it for McDonald, who didn't get anybody out. And it is 5-0 Houston.
Have a happy time too if you can come to Minute Maid Park Wednesday. You voted for it, now it's here. That's right, Wednesday, September 26th. 10,000 fans will take home a J.R. Richard back-to-back 300 strikeout seasons bobblehead courtesy of Xfinity. Bid now by tickets at Astros.com or by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS. That was J.R. with the form that he used to strike out over 600 batters over 2 seasons.
Warm-up action on the mound involves Brian Morris, who's recalled from Indianapolis September 10th. He's been in 2 major league games with no decisions and an ERA 4.50, working 2 innings with a walk and no strikeouts.
Fastball, slider, cut fastball. Started with the Dodgers, and then in 08 was traded to the Pirates. This year at AAA, he was 2-2 with a 2.56 ERA. In 46 games, he has saved 5, had 79 punch-outs in 81 innings. Good numbers for Indianapolis. Now it's Chris Snyder batting against him. Runners at first and third, nobody out. Middle infielders are a double play depth. Varmus moving a little bit more over to his right, and Snyder is a pull hitter. And Holt is close to the bag at second, as you see there. Glenn Hurdle came to battle tonight with a 13-man bullpen. Boy, he can battle for a while then. This might be the thriller in Manila if he uses all those guys. A
pull foul.
Boy, he played to the big man's strength there. And fastball drifting to the inner third. Up a little bit.
He's ready to make the play. Knows how to use that glove.
Oh, one broken strap there. You just get that to stretch Suba, let him do a little repair work.
Glove's got a few games on it, I believe. There's a move over to first by Brian Morris, who was a first-round pick of the Dodgers in '06. And Tommy John surgery, though, in '07. From Woodbury, Tennessee, and Motlow State Community College. What would their nickname be?
Oh, boy, that's a tough one, Brownie.
Motlow State. If you know that one.
How do you spell Motlow?
M-O-T-L-O-W.
T-L-O-W. This is in Tennessee, huh?
Yeah.
Motlow.
Never heard of that one, JD.
I'm going to go with the Fighting Chicken Gizzards.
Bolt very close to the bag at second as that throw heads for first base. Better takes it.
They're the Bucks, Brownie.
The Bucks.
Yep.
$1 to another for Brian Morris, although he was traded from the Dodgers to the Bucks in '08 in a 3-team swap. Pitched for Double-A Altoona last year. Pitch out here. And it's 1-1. Dodgers are scoring 2 in the top of the 10th so far to lead Cincinnati 3-1 at Cincinnati. Matt Kemp just got an RBI single for them. Dodgers are 4 games over 500 right now.
Slide ball there from Morris.
1-2. Did you see the schedule for the Reds next year? Opening day.
No.
They will be at home against the Angels. That'll be weird, won't it? Interleague play in the city where professional baseball started on opening day.
It's kind of weird.
Now
but kind of fitting in a way, right? The traditional opener there in Cincinnati where it all started. So this is the first year that there's going to be interleague play throughout the schedule.
True.
I'll just start it there.
Swing by Snyder, and he's down on strikes. That's out number 1. There's some carping about the schedule from somebody with the Blue Jays, I believe. Playing 19 games against each of the clubs in the AL East. That's a tough division. That's the way the schedule shakes out. Here is Scott Moore.
What do they play against them now? I mean, we play about 18 games within our division.
Yeah, I think it must be about that now. Scott Moore, maybe they were hoping for a dramatic reversal.
Hoping a change.
243 for Scott with 8 home runs. Cedeno went 2/3 of an inning, allowing no hits, no runs with a walk and a strikeout. That's in tight to Scott Moore. Ball 1. And Scott Moore, as a pinch hitter, is 3 for 5. Scott was 2 for 7 in the Cardinals series. He is 7 for 18 in the month of September. Mickey Story's warming up for Houston. Altuve on deck. Throw goes over to first. Yeah, that's going to take some getting used to for the fans with interleague play. With the 2 15-team leagues, an odd number of teams, there will be interleague play all the time. And each of the clubs will have 20 interleague games. And play each team in their division 19 times. Foul ball. So it's quite different compared to the schedules you've been used to down through the years.
But there'll still be kind of a stretch where there's a lot of interleague going on, right? And then there's just these rogue individual interleague series throughout the year.
I think so, JD.
Yeah, I think they were trying to keep that essence of a kind of this is a special time or a unique time, however you want to define it, of the schedule where there's a lot of interleague baseball going on.
Of course, the Astros will open with interleague play here against the Rangers. Or no, they're not.
Because we'll be over there.
Well, we gotta get used to
yeah.
that just sounds different, doesn't it? Should know better by now. 1 and 2.
I've been quizzing myself lately. I've been saying, okay, Oakland, name 5 guys.
Yeah, right.
Or I'll look at the box score and say, oh, yeah. I remember. I know these guys. I tend to know more of them than I give myself credit for.
It'll be a divisional game. Meet your new neighbors. Runner goes from first, and he will get there easily. Bogusevic stealing second base as the pitch was down, and McHenry really didn't have a chance to make a throw. Bogusevic getting his 15th steal in 19 tries.
Chance to put this game out of reach. Just one out in the inning, and Ogie sets sail, and then it becomes easy as the ball's in the dirt.
Now 2 and 2.
Wally was ready to pounce.
He was. Scott Moore has reached base safely in 10 of his last 18 plate appearances. The infield in gives him extra room to get a hit.
Yeah, just a little short stroke single somewhere. Gets you 2 ribeyes.
All that room up the middle. It's 3 and 2.
I can see the slogan now next year.
That's it.
And the Rangers are here. Lone Star Series. This time it counts.
Big 3-2 pitch coming here.
Good job. Time when a lot of hitters are anxious with chase. Moore shows good discipline, wants to walk.
Base is loaded now for Altuve. Altuve's 1 for 3. A double. So Moore delivers again in a pinch hitting assignment. And Ray Searage makes a trip to the mound.
That's the other part of September baseball with so many inexperienced players involved. There's a lot more on-field instruction, a lot of meetings, a lot of conversations.
Isanori Takahashi is warming up for the Pirates. Altuve 1 for 3 in this game. There's a shot here with the bases loaded and 1 out. He's created a lot of fans this season. White Sox got a run in the first at Anaheim. They lead the Angels 1-0 after 1.
So, you know, every year the writers, they vote awards for the Astros. They have an MVP, a pitcher of the year, the rookie of the year. Clearly Altuve is going to be your MVP, but it's going to be a little tricky on the rookie because, you know, Harrell is probably the pitcher of the year, but he probably also deserves to be the rookie of the year. I don't know if they would give both of those awards to Lucas.
Well, they might. We need to poll the voters.
And there's not that many, if you think about it, there's really not that many rookies on the club. A lot of inexperienced players, but not that many true rookies that have been here for any length of time.
They call that strike 1 on appeal. And the check swing call.
Didn't have to be.
Harrell leads all rookies in innings pitched in the National League. He's second in wins. But yeah, will he be considered by the voters for both awards? We're not sure. We'll have to do some polling on our own. Infielders in tight. Altuve fouls it.
Boy, had one there. Breaking ball stayed up. Pretty good hack. Just didn't quite get it. She's backed up on Morris.
The Reds are batting in the bottom of the 10th, trailing the Dodgers now 3-1. It's Kansas City 4, Cleveland 3. They've played 7. Jake Peavy's on the mound for the White Sox against the Angels. Rangers did another number on their former hurler, Wilson, who faced them last night for the Angels. Whoa, over the head of Altuve. It hit him in the helmet. And that hit batsman will force in a run to make it 6-0. Altuve reached up for that helmet after getting hit by the pitch from Morris. He gets the RBI the tough way. He was beamed on that one. And Rex Jones is talking with him.
Man, that's the thing. 2 strikes. You want to hang in there. You're trying to protect that outside part of the plate. And then this breaking ball sails up and in on him. Back-to-back breaking pitches that backed up on Morris. This one just glancing off the top of the helmet of Altuve.
Dan Radisson checking with him now. That's RBI number 35 of the year for Altuve.
That's in that instance probably scarier more than anything for Altuve. You see that ball coming at your head. It's not like you're looking at a replay like we are going, oh, it was a breaking ball that backed up and glanced off. You just see this ball coming at your coconut.
Strike to Brandon Barnes. He's the 8th Astro to bat here in the 6th inning. 3 runners have scored for a 6-0 lead. Barnes singled and scored in the 1st. He walked in the 5th. Chase that one, and it's no balls, 2 strikes for Morris. Yankees beat Oakland 2-1 with a run in the 10th. David Robertson got that win. Russell Martin hit his 18th home run for the Yankees. They're 87-63 now.
I wonder how many games the Yankees have played at home this year in which they did not hit a home run.
Ooh, very few, I would think. Yeah. Maybe 4 or 5, just guessing. They're a home run hitting team.
In a home run hitting ballpark.
Yeah. Baltimore won 4-2 at Boston, so the Orioles and Yankees stay separated by 1 game with New York leading. Swing and a miss there, and a strikeout of Barnes. 2 outs. Matt Dominguez comes up next. Bases loaded for Dominguez, who's 0 for 3. Morris is pitcher number 3 tonight. It's a tough road trip for Oakland. A difficult loss tonight after they scored a run in the 9th to tie it.
They won the finale of their 3-game series at Detroit that just ended. This road trip that started in Detroit moved on to New York, and I think they go to Texas, don't they?
Yes, they do.
That's a gauntlet there, boy.
Ooh, challenging road trip.
But at the end, if they hang close enough, an opportunity to make a move on Texas. They come out of New York okay.
That's a good point. Texas took a 4-game lead into play tonight over Oakland.
I don't know. It would be interesting to know in their hearts of hearts with Billy Beane, Bob Melvin, if you were to ask them, would you prefer not to be playing Texas in that series, playing something that's a little bit easier to beat, or would you want to take a run at the Rangers? And I'm guessing they would prefer to be playing a lesser club just to try to secure that wild card position. They would never admit that. No.
1 and 2.
You just got to play the schedule you're handed.
Angels have tied the White Sox 1-1 in the bottom of the 2nd inning on a Kendrys Morales homer, his 21st. De Aza hit his 9th for the White Sox earlier.
This is the last time the Astros scored 10 in a ball game.
We're going to have to scurry through the log of the season on that one. It's been a while. Dominguez takes 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, they did a good job in that home series against the Phillies, averaging 6 runs per game, but not a 10. Okay, they won 10-1 in Chicago, August 14th. That's the last time.
It's high time.
Yep. Ground ball shortstop. Farmer's charging. And he gets the final out, but the Astros bat around in a 37-pitch inning. They score 3 times. It begins with a Maxwell leadoff homer, his 17th, and it continues with an RBI triple by Brett Wallace. They score 3. And they open up some room between themselves and the Pirates, 6-0.
Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by Hyundai. If it's stylish, intelligent, safe, and affordable, it's probably a Hyundai. And by AT&T. Find out what's possible with products and services from AT&T. Rethink possible. Well, the Astros leading this one 6-0 against a team that now we know why they've been falling, because they just have not looked very good at all. The Pirates may be heading for their 20th straight season under 500. Meanwhile, a couple of changes with the pitching change as well. Browning?
Justin Maxwell moves from right field to left field, and Ryan Bogusevic stays in the game to play right field after pinch hitting for J.D. Martinez. That's the way it looks on the field, including pitcher Mickey Story. He's pitcher number 5 tonight. He's 0-1 with a 4.38 ERA. Michael McHenry leads it off against him. McHenry has walked and fly to center.
Well, this game really turned it in the 6th inning to a certain extent, because the Astros obviously they had the lead, but in the top of the 6th, the Pirates ended up with the bases loaded. They had Alvarez up there. Cedeno got the big punch out to finish that inning, and then the Astros scored 3 of their own to really open things up. It was a big confrontation.
It really was, and those breaking balls worked for Cedeno.
It seems like it was an hour ago when that happened.
It does. It might have been an hour ago, in fact. Not that we would be keeping tabs on that. 0-2 to Michael McHenry.
It's just when I flipped my scorebook back over to the Pirates page that I realized that just happened last half inning.
Breaking ball, he got him to chase and he struck him out. Strikeout number 7 for Astros pitching. That's the specialty of Mickey Story. He throws 2 different types of breaking ball. Mickey's one of those guys who's opened some eyes along the way this year with an opportunity to pitch in the big leagues. And it might be helpful for him because Tony DeFrancesco managed him also at Oklahoma City as well as here. Holt is 1 for 2. Brock got a single to shortstop in the 2nd inning. Story over to field, this little tap, drops it, and he will be safe. Looked like he was peeking to see where Holt was, and it's an error on Story.
Yeah, Mickey Story, he's not one of those guys that the radar gun is going to recommend to the big club. And maybe not the scouts. So a manager who's had him for a while says, yeah, his breaking ball will play at the big leagues. Not an overpowering guy, but he throws enough strikes, and he knows how to pitch. He could find a niche, and he's pitched pretty well since he's been here and put himself in a favorable position going forward. Not that he's going to be a lock to be on the club next year, but certainly would have a chance, a good chance.
He throws ball 1 to top. Entered the game in the number 9 position. And he has hit pretty well in his last 8 games, 7 for 19. But overall, he has not really panned out that well this year for the Pirates. They had to send him to AAA Indianapolis because he just was not playing well. It's 1-1.
Maybe next year will be his breakout year. They went through a similar thing with Alvarez last year.
That's true. Two balls and a strike That was a walk-off homer in the 10th inning by Russell Martin of the Yankees to keep them alone in first with that 2-1 win over Oakland.
Yeah, the Cubs beat the Cardinals 5-4 in extra innings. That is, I believe, the 4th time that the Cubs have walked off on the Cardinals at Wrigley this year.
Oh. Yeah, we were looking yesterday at that Cardinals record at Wrigley. It was not good. Poke foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, well, it's a swing like that that will get the hitting coach and the manager scratching their heads. It's 2 balls, 1 strike, and it goes way out of the strike as if that's the kind of swing you see when you've got 2 strikes and you're in protect mode, and maybe you got an umpire with a big zone.
Right.
It's one thing to be fooled by breaking balls, but go way off the plate like that for a 2-1 fastball.
Yeah.
And if he takes it, he's sitting up there 3-1, and he's in complete command of the count.
Yeah, it was if he was just determined to swing at it.
Yeah, sometimes that's the biggest difference between guys that survive up here and guys that never quite figure it out. It's plate discipline. The skill set for a lot of these guys is the same in terms of strength and bat speed and eye hand coordination and all that, but it's just the ability to control the strike zone, swing at pitches you can handle.
Swing and a miss. Out number 2. Last year he had a pretty good walk to strikeout ratio, 40 walks, 61 strikeouts. Let's see, this year it's 27 walks, 56 strikeouts. So he's regressed in that area.
Nothing wrong with swinging at that pitch. He just didn't get it.
Starling Marte is 2 for 3.
And that swing is, we talk about a lot of good hitters, how their swing is flat and stays in the zone. His wasn't in the zone very long at all. He just kind of slicing down on the ball.
And strike 1. Well, that's one thing that, for instance, coaches in other sports talk about as well. Anything where you're trying to hit a moving ball like tennis, trying to keep that stroke on a line on the path where the ball is traveling.
Yeah, because, if not, your timing has to be just perfect.
Yes, it really does. And that Milwaukee 4-2 win at Washington, with the Brewers getting 3 in the 9th, that is their 6th win in a row. And they're putting the heat on the Cardinals from a game and a half back now. Marte strikes out. And 3 strikeouts in the inning for Mickey. Story was dazzling against these Pirate hitters as the Astros maintain their 6-0 lead. The National League wild card showing you Atlanta 6 games in front of St. Louis, looking very strong for a wild card spot. St. Louis not so much, a game and a half in front of Milwaukee, 2 in front of Los Angeles, 3 in front of Philadelphia as those clubs are trying to make a move on front-running Cardinals, who have a tired bullpen right now.
And don't you know, the Phillies are just thinking, man, how did we go into Houston and lose 3 out of 4?
Yes.
You got Strode. That's what happened.
People enjoying the 7th inning stretch on a flashback Friday. They'll get fireworks after the game. And they hope to get more offense from the Astros, who lead it already 6-0. Here's a guy who hopes not. Hisanori Takahashi. He has an ERA of 14.54 for 5 games with the Buccos.
Well, he's got a little bit of everything. Fastball, slider, cutter, curveball, changeup. Throws a lot of soft stuff. Got a little funk in his delivery with that little bounce at the top.
He's got a bounce in his step,
He
JD.
got a bounce in his step.
Ball one to Maxwell. J-Max ripped a line drive homer in the 6th inning after drawing walks the first 2 times up. It does cause a problem, though, with the hitter waiting on him for that bounce. 1-1. Morris in 1 inning allowed no hits, no runs. He had a walk, a hit batsman, and 2 strikeouts. McDonald, no innings, 2 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts. He hit a batter. Well, it's a wild ride for this Pirate bullpen so far tonight.
He took a little extra time at the top that time.
Fun to watch. Reiner Cruz is warming up for Tony DeFrancesco. Ty Van Berkeley, the hitting coach, is closest to you. It's 3-1. We understand Ty is going to be headed for the instructional league. Here's the home run swing. Kevin Allen holding steady on that camera.
J-Max has hit some long, towering home runs this year. That's more of a line drive, 1-iron.
That was vicious. Whoa. 3 and 2. Is that in the box?
The Foxtrot's box?
Yeah.
No, it looked like it was outside of the box.
Okay, good.
Might have been in the left-handed hitter's batter's box.
Okay. Didn't look in the box from here.
Cooper's thinking outside the box right now. It's 6-0. 2 teams out of contention.
3 balls, 2 strikes.
Fire back there. Boys, the box just got a little bigger here tonight.
Yep. Yeah, it's a big box theory we're working with now in this 6-0 game in the 7th. Tap the shortstop. Farmas throws low. Garrett Jones did a nice job of scooping that one. 1 out. Soft hands from Garrett.
That was usually true from Clint Barmas, but this time he throws a little sinker.
Well, it's got to be nice. You know, routine play. You're going to get an error if the first baseman doesn't make that play. You become a big fan of Garrett Jones if you're Clint Barmas when he does that. Jed Lowry ripped a 3-run homer in the first. He struck out in the 3rd. He was hit by a pitch and scored in the 6th inning. And this one backhanded. Barmas throwing from the grass. This time a very good throw. 2 outs.
He just needed to be challenged a little bit.
It's a lot tougher play. It might be a hit for Lowry, but everything was perfect for Barmas. Lowry hopes to be able to play 4 or 5 games in a row by the end of the year. Gotten a test on that knee tonight. Wallace with the RBI triple in the 6th inning is 1 for 3 in this game. In Baltimore's 4-2 win at Boston, it was Miguel Gonzalez winning his 7th, beating John Lester, who's 9-13. Jim Johnson got his 46th save. 46 saves. Ball 1 for Wally. Matt Wieters drove in 3. And the Orioles still looking very strong. With Johnson anchoring that bullpen. It's 1-1. So if the season ended today, it would be Oakland playing Baltimore in a 1-game wild card playoff. It's in for a strike, and it's 1-2. That would be great fun for fans of those playoff starved cities. That was the first loss for John Lester in 21 career starts against Baltimore. Fly ball out to right center field. This is going to travel a ways. It's headed for the bullpen. Home run, Brett Wallace, number 8. And he finally gets one in his home ballpark. 8 home runs for Wallace. It's RBI number 21 for Brett, and his 2nd of the night.
Last year he took a lot of heat, and he's talked about this year too about the lower body. Watch him go down and get this one. Really use his legs to break down and reach out and then lift that ball into the Astros bullpen.
First home run at home for Brett. Ball 1-2 bogey. He had 86 at bats at home until he hit his first bomb. Right over the 373 marker. 397-footer.
So many times this year the Astros have struggled in the power department when they'll end up, with 10 hits in a game, but 9 of them singles. A lot of extra base thump here tonight.
3 homers, a triple.
Tuve had a double.
It's a line shot to center field. McCutchen over. Bogusevic retired, but Wallace was not retired, on his way to scoring run number 7 of the night. The Astros breaking out the big sticks, and they lead it through 7 by 7. And Dallas Keuchel for you. You can come out to the ballpark hopefully tomorrow night. Get one of those nice shooting star jerseys if you're among the first 10,000. Watch this Kevin Correa and Dallas Keuchel matchup between a right-hander who's 11-9, a lefty who's 2-7. That's tomorrow night at 6:05. Coverage begins on Astros Radio a few minutes before that.
Correa, who had been taken out of the Pirates rotation, back in it. He's been pitching pretty well. He threw a dandy last time out.
Reiner Cruz comes in for the Astros. New shortstop as well. Marwin Gonzalez taking over for Jed Lowry. Lowry had a 3-run homer. He was hit by a pitch, scored 2 runs tonight. Now Cruz becomes pitcher number 6. Mickey Story had 3 strikeouts in his 1 hitless inning. Cruz is 1-1. His ERA is 6.27.
Yeah, just a sparkling job by the bullpen tonight, coming in for the injured Edgar Gonzalez. Valdez struggled, gave up a couple of knocks, but Fernando Rodriguez very good. So Daniel got maybe the key out of the ball game, and Story punches out 3. His only flaw was the inability to handle that little comebacker.
Strike to Barmas. Went 0 for 3. Pirates have 5 hits, all of them singles. Breaking pitch makes it a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The Angels now lead the White Sox 3-1. They're in the bottom of the 3rd at Anaheim. It's 1-2. In the last of the 7th at Colorado, it's Arizona 13, Colorado 5. Chris Johnson at his 15th for the D-backs. Adam Eaton number 2. Seattle 1, Texas nothing after 2 in Seattle. San Diego and San Francisco no score after 2 in San Fran. Barmas is down on strikes. Strikeout number 10 for Astros pitching.
And the last 5 outs have all been recorded via the strikeout.
Andrew McCutchen single to center in the 6th inning. He is 1 for 3. He's become one of the top center fielders in the game. Really solid year for McCutchen. Boy, it's going to be a year for center fielders on the open free agent market too. There's strike 1.
Who's out there, Brownie?
Well, Josh Hamilton, if you consider him to be a center fielder. Michael Bourne and B.J. Upton all are headed for free agency. Strike 0-2. It's 7-0. The Astros lead it. They got off to a great start with a Jed Lowry 3-run homer in the 1st. Got another home run in the 6th from Justin Maxwell when they batted around. Brett Wallace homered in the 7th. He also has an RBI triple. Bill Brown, Jim DeShays, Greg Lucas, Bart Ennis with you on a Friday night. It's 1-2. A return home night for the Astros. And last homestand, they played well. So they're trying to put another one on top of that. Their final homestand of the year. 3 with the Pirates, 3 with the Cardinals in the final 6 games at home. It's 2-2. The Astros are 8-10 in the month of September. Their final road trip will take them to Milwaukee and Chicago. They've played several contenders here in the wild card race coming down the stretch. There's a strikeout for Cruz.
98. Pounding it over that outside corner at 98.
Sure did. Boy, 98 and in a great spot. 98 and out the gate for McCutchen.
The little finish at the end, a little flare.
Garrett Jones is 0 for 3.
To the 5-hole, Eric Cooper.
From August 28th until the end of the season, 5 of the 7 Astros opponents are currently within 4 games or less of a playoff spot. So a strong finish for Tony D. Will be a nice way to go home. He's out of headphones now. He can't hand out any more of those to the players. Excellent performances. 2 balls, no strikes. Boy, he's been using the players. It's off the plate and it's ball 3. 3-0 to Garrett Jones. Tampa Bay crushed Toronto 12-1. James Shields going to 15-9. Carlos Villanueva 7-6, the loser. Jose Molina hit his 7th home run for the Rays, and Benjamin Zobrist swatted number 18. Kansas City down Cleveland 6-3. That's a strike. That makes it 3-1. They were rained out in Detroit between the Twins and Tigers.
Double dip tomorrow?
I'm guessing. I haven't seen anything on that. Dodgers knocked off Cincinnati 3-1 in 10. Belisario the winner, LeCure the loser. League got his 13th save. That's ripped toward the bullpen in right field over Bogusevic, and that one is going to fly in for a home run. 7-1 ball game as Jones belts number 24 of the season, giving him 78 runs batted in. It's his 5th long ball against the Astros.
I was just wishing that one had come one plate appearance sooner. He was up with men on base last time and flew to center. Well, there goes the shutout. Difference between a well-placed fastball and a down the heart of the plate fastball.
Jones gets his 24th. Now the pinch hitter is Alex Presley. Presley is hitting for the pitcher Takahashi. 2 in 1 inning, allowed 1 hit and 1 run. Strike to Presley. Presley's 27 years old. He's from Monroe, Louisiana. He's hitting .237 with 9 homers, 21 runs batted in. Had a good year last year, but this year has been unable to match his batting average from last season. Beats that one off the plate, and it goes foul. No balls, 2 strikes. However, in his last 3 starts, Alex is 4 for 10 with a triple and a homer. He got a ball. Tyler Clippard lost it for Washington. Milwaukee with 3 in the 9th, winning it 4-2. Veras the winner. Axford getting his 32nd save. Toward the left field corner, and that one will get out of play.
Today's an anniversary of sorts for our good buddy Lance Berkman.
What did he do?
Well, on this date in 2006, he hit a couple of home runs against the Cardinals. But what made that unique was it was the 6th consecutive year that he had homered on September 21st.
Ooh.
You do not want to pitch to Berkman on September 21st.
Well, unfortunately, he won't make it 7.
That was the second longest such streak in baseball history. Lou Gehrig homered on 7 consecutive June 8s.
Backhanded Altuve. What a play for Altuve over to Wallace. And he got to it on the backhand side, then made a quick across the body one-hop throw to get Presley. 7-1 Houston.
Go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Don't forget, in the postseason, you catch all the action of 2012 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. The excitement begins October 5th with a wild card, and that will be on TBS. Seen some great Astro offense in this game. We've also seen some pretty sparkling defense. Altuve started a force out with 1 earlier, and then he just made 1 in the last half inning that was even more spectacular. Long way to go with the throw. Easy bounce hop into Wallace. It's defense and offense that helped the Astros have this 7-1 lead right now. Brownie.
Well done by Altuve. And now in this 7-1 ball game, the Astros come up in the 8th inning against pitcher number 5 for Clint Hurdle's Pirates, Justin Wilson. Another lefty. Wilson is 25 years old. He's from Anaheim, California. He has no decisions with a 3.86 ERA.
That starter down in the minor leagues, 9-6 with a 3.78 ERA in 25 starts with their AAA club at Indianapolis. He was second in the International League in strikeouts.
Snyder's 0 for 3, taking ball 1. Yeah, good strikeout ratio. 138 Ks in 135 2/3 innings. Wilton Lopez is warming up for Houston. It's 1-0 to Snyder with Matt Downs on deck. Downs preparing to pinch hit for Cruz. Wilson powers it in. It's a 1-ball 1-strike count. Wilson made his major league debut in San Diego August 20th. Struck out 3 of the 5 men he faced in 1 scoreless inning. Eric Cooper's headed over to pick up a ball.
Kind of dogging the ball boy for not getting out there.
Okay.
Good also Coop.
Doubleheader Sunday for Detroit and Minnesota. Not tomorrow. 2 balls and a strike. Jim Leyland's club needs to string together the wins or go home at the end of the regular season. It's 3 balls 1 strike. Snyder looks at ball 4. He takes a leadoff walk here in the home 8th. 6th walk for Pirate pitching tonight.
That's a man who's sticking to his game plan right there.
Yeah.
To Snyder. He's up there. It's 3 balls 1 strike. It's a 7-1 game. If ever you were going to just try to launch and chase a 3-1 fastball, that would be the time. But he has a real good sense of the strike zone. The ball was off the plate. Took his walk.
Matt Downs is a pinch hitter now for Cruz. Reiner in 1 inning, allowing 1 hit, 1 run with no walks, 2 strikeouts. Downs is at 203. He has 8 homers. He's driven in 16. Strike 1 to Matt. Matt is 4 for 35 as a pinch hitter with 1 RBI. He drew a pinch walk in yesterday's game. Fouls it.
Unless you think the September baseball trend is something new with all the pitching changes and pinch hitters. On this date in 1993, the Braves and Expos combined to use 13 pinch hitters in a ball game.
Did they really?
Yeah. Expos used 4. The Braves used 9. Bobby Cox used 6 pinch hitters in 1 inning.
Wow.
It's a blowout game. He wanted to rest his regulars, so he used 6 pinch hitters in the 7th inning, including the first 5 batters.
The guys got early showers that game. Struck him out looking. 1 down. Justin Wilson. Now it's Altuve batting. Altuve has a double and he was hit by a pitch.
This kid's got a good arm, boy.
Yes, he does. We might be seeing him every 5 days next year, but from afar, from the box scores. Although these two teams will play in one series next year. Pirates have had problems with their starting rotation in each of the last 2 years in the second half. Strong first half performances. It's ball 1 for Altuve. It's Seattle 2, Texas nothing. They're in the bottom of the 3rd in Seattle. Martin Perez starting for the Rangers. That's a strike, and that makes it 1-1. Iwakuma is on the mound for Seattle.
I'm not sure, but I think he just threw a 90-mile-an-hour changeup.
Ooh.
Maybe it was a cutter.
That's impressive. Fouled away, 1-2.
Must have been a cutter.
Somebody makes a nice play on a Friday night.
Fireworks coming up after the ball game.
It's our final fireworks night at home. This one gets by the catcher, and Altuve strikes out. 2 outs, and the runner advances. Snyder to second base. Wild pitch gets him there. And Brandon Barnes will be the batter. Brandon's 1 for 3 with a walk. Each club has 6 hits. McHenry out to talk with his lefty, Wilson. Wilson went to Fresno State. He was a member of the 08 College World Series championship team there. Earlier this season, he went 7 1/3 innings in Durham and was part of a combined no-hitter. And then he had an 8-inning rain-shortened no-hitter for Indianapolis. So this guy has gotten some really effective games. He was a 5th-round pick in 08. Brings that one in for strike 1 on Barnes.
Now they have Garrett Cole, who was their first pick in last year's draft, on the way. Jamison Tyon of the Woodlands, who a couple years back was the number 2 pick in the country, making his way through their system. So the future for the Pirates, at least in the pitching department, looks pretty strong.
It does.
McCutcheon is a young guy with a load of talent. He's not going anywhere. Alvarez looks like he's got it figured out.
Well, they have a good talent base. Wilton Lopez working there. Top-notch closer and Joel Hanrahan. Upstairs for ball 2 to Barnes. 2 balls and a strike. It's 3-1.
See what Rex Ryan of the Jets is doing?
No.
They're bringing in a sleep specialist to work with the players.
Why?
I guess just, he says he's looking for any little edge and trying to emphasize the importance of getting 8 hours of sleep and staying in a routine.
Well, we'll have to find out what advice this specialist passes along to the players, if they even publicize that. Probably not, because otherwise he wouldn't be making anything for his services. Fouled away.
Wasn't that a couple of years ago with the Astros? Didn't they bring somebody in, or was just Gene Coleman maybe taking over and doing some education of the players in terms of sleep habits and things of that nature?
I don't remember. We'll have to ask Gene.
Seems to ring a bell.
What do you think would be the keys to getting a good night's sleep?
Turn off that television.
Okay.
Not until the game's over, though, because anything can happen.
That's the second walk of the inning. Brandon Barnes reaching. And Dominguez is about it. Yeah, you're supposed to keep your mind at rest before you go to bed, right?
Limit the stimulation.
So maybe stare at the wall for 30 minutes, or
we just had that shot of Clint Hurdle, and I would suggest not going 4-15 in the month of September.
No,
that probably is not going to help your sleep patterns at all.
That's not going to work. Ray Searage on his way to the mound with Dominguez. Yep. Being in a quiet, placid, peaceful place before bed, so no rambunctious activity at all. Maybe a little light reading, and then put the reading down and contemplate your role in humanity.
And get up in the morning, too. I think that's what happens with a lot of players, baseball players. And obviously you're going to sleep in with the program that these guys keep. After the game, it's tough to wind down, so they tend to stay up. But, some guys, they'll just turn their rooms into a cave, and they'll just kind of sleep till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You can't do that.
No, that's
too lethargic.
And you won't be able to get to sleep that night. And that's a vicious cycle. So you don't want to be well rested. Dominguez is 0 for 4. Somewhere in there, there's a lesson for all of us. Rick Vandenherk is warming up for the Pirates. That's ball 1. I think one of the biggest problems for baseball players is the different cycles of sleep when going from night games to day games. Bouncer goes foul.
Well, and that's why way back in the day, right, guys used to drink red juice, which had amphetamines in it, and then greenies became so popular for players. It was usually the position players, just a little pick-me-up. Those have been outlawed, and they're tested for.
Right.
But those were a staple in the game for a long time.
They were. They would increase the heart rate a little bit, right?
They just help guys kind of, get loose and kind of over the course of a long season.
But that's taboo, so a lot of guys go with the 5-hour energy, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a good idea either.
May not be the best.
I don't think generally that stuff's really good for you.
Fly ball center field, McCutcheon. And that's out, number 3. My partner will not be getting in endorsements from 5-hour energy this season.
No, if they want to write a check, I'll be happy to.
Go to the 9th inning, and it's Wilton Lopez. He'll be pitcher number 7 for Tony DeFrancesco. He has only 7 walks in 60 1/3 innings.
Which is most impressive.
It sure is.
Alvarez, McHenry, and Holt, the scheduled batters here for the Pirates, as they bat in the top half of the 9th. It's really been a complete game for the Astros tonight. Pitching has been outstanding. The defense, solid, aside from that little bobble by Mickey Story. And offensively, some big timely hits.
And in the 2nd inning, the starter, Edgar Gonzalez, had to leave with a hamstring injury. But it's been a very good job by the bullpen of pulling together. Fernando Rodriguez is in line for the win. He went 3 1/3 innings, giving up 2 hits, no runs. Jose Valdez got an out. Xavier Cedeno got 2 outs. One of them a key out with Alvarez batting and the bases loaded. Alvarez batting here in the 9th inning. He is 1 for 3. And that's ball 1 from Wilton Lopez. Mickey Story worked a hitless inning, striking out 3. Reiner Cruz worked 1 inning. He gave up a run. Strikeout numbers are big for the Astros. 11. There's a strike. It's 1-1 to Alvarez, with Lopez trying to get those final 3 outs. Infield is overshifted for Alvarez. It's 1-2. Pirates lead all National League teams with 98 homers on the road. And that's the only way they scored in the 8th inning, with a 2-out bomb from Garrett Jones. Each club with 6 hits. The Astros have 1 error, and the Pirates have left 7, while Houston has stranded 8 in this game. The Astros trying to win for the 4th time against the Pirates, who have beaten them on 11 occasions this season. And Lopez gets a strikeout. 12 Ks for Astros pitchers.
Alvarez went way up for that one.
Michael McHenry is 0 for 2 with a walk. That's strike 1 for Wilton Lopez. 6:05 start time tomorrow night for Kevin Correa, an 11-game winner, and Dallas Keuchel. Sunday it's A.J. Burnett, who's 115, and Jordan Lyles. That's a 1:05 start. We're on the air at 12:30.
Dallas looking to win back-to-back games. He beat the Phillies last time out, his 2nd career win. Through 5 1/3 scoreless. A little bit of a magic act. He allowed 5 hits and 4 walks, did not strike anybody out, but he didn't give up any runs.
Seems to be at his best sometimes with men on base, and he was that time. 1-2. The Angels are pulling out in front of the White Sox. It's 5-1 Angels after 4. Reading story today about the lefty starter Chris Sale for the White Sox. He really verbally went at general manager Kenny Williams to stay in that rotation after they put him in the bullpen. They were just concerned that he was throwing too many sliders and that he would hurt his arm. So the deal was he had to throw more changeups, and he's followed that agreement. And they've had a heck of a lefty on their hands all year in Chris Sale. Foul ball. Keeps the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes on McHenry.
I wonder why they think he's less likely to get hurt throwing changeups than he would be throwing sliders.
I don't know. They talked about his delivery. He drops down more than.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if he's getting underneath that slider, that might create problems.
Could be. But
yeah, I remember that was a story when we were there about him coming out of the rotation, how he pushed hard against that.
He's got a very tough delivery from that angle. Foul back. You know, people are now starting to analyze what they feel will be the playoff teams this year. That White Sox club, it's not going to be an easy team to beat. The pitching staff that they have in Chicago this year, and a home run hitting club.
Yeah, either one of those clubs, if the Tigers were to come back and overtake the White Sox with Verlander and company,
yeah,
especially if Scherzer's okay. I didn't hear an update on him. I know he had an MRI the other day, and there was no structural damage, but I think there still has to be some concern. But Scherzer's been money in the second half.
Really has. San Diego just got a run in the top of the 4th on a Chase Headley homer, his 29th. He hit this one at San Francisco.
Speaking of money in the second half,
yeah,
what a beast that guy is.
Casey Kelly's pitching against Ryan Vogelsong.
What's that old adage? Sometimes the best trades are the ones you don't make. There was so much talk about Headley being moved around the trade deadline, and the Padres did not pull the trigger.
They have a top flight third baseman in their minor league system too, who might be about ready to go. So it really seemed to many that they would deal him. A great moment of restraint not to trade him.
I mean, he's not a free agent, right?
Right.
So even if they decide to trade him, the value has to be way up now.
Good point. Two balls, two strikes.
Henry putting up a pretty good fight here.
Scrappy player. 3-2. Nice acquisition by the Pirates. He had been with the Rockies. He's really served them well.
I would say McHenry doesn't want to give up the fort, but that would be a lame pun, and don't do that.
No, we don't use puns after 10 o'clock at night.
This is a no pun zone.
Line shot into left center field, and that's a hit for McHenry.
That's just great, though. You talk about great concentration and not giving away an at bat. A 7-1 ball game, 1 out in the ninth.
Yep, he is bearing down. And Holt comes up. Holt is 1 for 3.
Because he knows he could have just earned somebody's fantasy team a very important point.
Brock Holt from Fort Worth, Texas, was a leadoff man at Rice University. 9th round pick in the 09 draft, who played last year at AA Altoona. And strike one to Holt. Well, certainly the Pirates have to be missing Neil Walker, but Holt has given them a good performance when he's been at second base. Walker has 14 homers, 69 runs batted in, with a .277 batting average, so they do miss him. It's a 1 ball, 1 strike count. You going to see that movie Trouble with the Curve tomorrow?
I don't know if I'm going to go tomorrow, but we'll go.
Okay.
Here pretty soon.
It's 1 and 2.
Have you read any reviews on it?
Yeah, I read one today. It wasn't the best review.
I saw one in the Chronicle, and I think I read one online somewhere.
Right. But it was from somebody who writes in the San Francisco Chronicle, who gave it 3 stars, but he had reservations about some of the acting. But he did allow us to how it would be a lot of people's favorite movie of the year.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm saying. It's not a great piece of film, great movie making, but it sounds like it's fairly entertaining.
Yeah. Line shot. It's caught by Dominguez. He throws to first, and Wallace is there to make it a 5-3 double play to end this one. And the Astros come back home from getting swept in St. Louis, and they beat the Bucs 7-1. Fernando Rodriguez gets the win, his 2nd of the year, and here's the way the game ends.
Sharply hit, but Dominguez all over it, and then quickly unloads. Fire up the fireworks.
Wilton Lopez puts the lid on an Astros 7-1 victory over the Bucs in Houston tonight.